Efren, Derrick Destroyer Martinez. Welcome back to another Beyond the Yard episode 21. I apologize, 22. I lost my episode numbers because so far we're almost doing this like practically almost like every week. Hopefully we could try to do every week. That'll be nice. And I cannot forget my great partner, Sebastian, also known as Caution.
The virus, ladies and gentlemen. How's everybody doing today? Hope everybody's doing great.
Well, hopefully everybody's staying warm because over here in Kansas, it's pretty cold right now.
It's pretty cold over here in North Carolina, too.
But I'm just glad that we got, my partner, Caution, back on the episode. So thank you, bro, of being back on the show.
But not only that, today we have, and this man has a long introduction. Ladies and gentlemen, this man has competed for MEBW, ESW, EBW, WCEF, WWA, ATW, BTW, TWF, not the good one, TBW, BWF. This man has wrestled in Michigan, Ohio, New Jersey, Alabama, Georgia, and Texas. He is reinventing legacy, ladies and gentlemen. Jack Delta.
God damn, what an introduction, bro. He did that with one breath. I am so proud.
I gotta give up to you that.
Thank you guys for having me. I think it's been years since Derrick's been trying to get me on here and just random stuff. And, because he's had most of my MEBW cohorts that have actually wanted to be interviewed. He's had like James before. He's had like Matt Thunder. He's had a few others and stuff, but he's yet to have me, and I'm the only person from MEBW still yarding to this day. So
that is crazy, and I'm glad that I get to be here for the interview too, because I've been wanting to talk to you for a little bit.
And that's I'm just glad that I was able to like manage that. So it's good. Thank you guys for helping me make this happen.
Efren,
thank you
you're a legend.
This is going to be a very long interview. I'll tell you that right now, because this is the first opportunity I've had to be interviewed like this. I've tried setting up interviews with a bunch of different people, but their podcasts usually don't go through.
True.
Gotcha.
But you have a platform, and you let a lot of different people tell their stories, and it's nice to hear, Derrick.
Oh, for sure. I mean, everybody like has a story. Like any like person that's done yarding like has so much. It's like an iceberg, Like sure, you might see the wrestler, but you don't know what this wrestler has gone through,
Oh yeah, and boy howdy, have I been through. I've been through a lot, man. I've been doing backyard wrestling for 5 years now.
Wow.
5 years.
Somewhat as me. I think I've done it like 6 years plus. Like I think like just 6 years, but yeah, damn, we're getting old.
5 years and all those companies. That's a lot of companies. Like you have moved so far in 5 years.
Well, so that's due to two things. That's due to number one, I was very, very lucky. I'll admit that. Because a lot of people start when they do their backyard wrestling. Usually, I'll say this now. There's probably 1 to about 3 or 4 guys that really care about their company.
Sure.
I'm sure you guys can relate. Like, Efren, like I know you work your ass off trying to make ACW important, but you're the only person there that I've seen that's willing to travel and to go to places and do things outside of ACW and get your brand out there.
Exactly.
But I was very lucky because MEBW, we just happened to, so initially, here goes like the origin story of everything. MEBW was 2 companies at one point. It was EBW, like the most common backyard wrestling name outside of TWF. Sorry, Caution. And then there was HWW, and there was 2 companies. We happened to be very close to each other. And then once we met up, a lot of the brainchild stuff happened between myself, Tommy Gunn, and Matt Thunder. A lot of like the booking ideas, everything that went through, like how the process worked for MEBW, went through them. And with that, a lot of the guys on the roster, a lot of the guys cared about their character work. They cared about how they wrestled. They cared about everything, and like a lot of people, I feel like when they translate that to the yard, it's very hard for them because they don't know what they're doing per se.
For sure.
Because Because all right, so another thing too is before I even did yarding officially, I did get trained, and that's why a lot of my stuff is a lot like cleaner and flows well and stuff, and that's because I've gone to training, and so I understand different things that most yarding people starting out wouldn't be able to do.
For sure.
For sure. I was kind of at the same standpoint, like, because I did yarding and then I went to like in-ring yarding, like with some of the VTW guys, and then I went back to yarding. Like,
yeah, and it's such a hard dynamic, man. Like, I feel like a lot of like one thing that's really hard to get credit for and not a lot of people talk about is there's a lot of different types of yarding, you know.
for sure.
There's shit that's on the ground. There's stuff that's in rings. The rings are all completely different. You know, like sometimes you'll be working fucking 12 by 12. Sometimes it's handmade. Sometimes it's fucking 20 by 20 in ESW's case. And you've got to adapt your moveset around that.
For real. Like with me, like I worked inside you could say a homemade backyard wrestling ring with a TBW.
Yeah, you're TBW.
Yeah. So that was a bit interesting because, you know, I never, you know, been inside a wrestling ring in general. So, like, I kind of had to, like, I don't know how I would say it. Probably, like, I guess step up my game, but, like, just, you know, just go with the flow, I guess you could say that.
Yeah, one thing I do notice when people who've never worked in a ring go to a ring, they become over-reliant on the stuff that's in the ring that they almost kind of forget who they are as a wrestler.
Yeah.
Like,
I see.
Because they'll start doing stuff like they'll forget their moveset and they'll just start running the ropes. I can't tell you how many times I've seen someone who is in the ring, they'll run corner to corner and then they'll like clothesline someone and then they won't even let them like sell the move and then they're like running off the rope again. They're like Sonic the Hedgehog.
For real.
I mean, you got to think for a lot of those guys, this is their first time, like that experience of like being inside a ring. So they think it's cool, like it's fun to run the ropes. Like they kind of get in the trance of it for a minute.
Like,
oh yeah, no, I don't blame them, bro. Trust me.
Yeah.
That's so relatable.
Yeah. Oh man. No, but that's that thing that comes with experience of doing this for 5 years, you know, because I was going to say the second part of it, outside of having, like the guys that care about it is just having the care to like market yourself well. There's, I can fully admit this and I might get a little heat for this. And that's probably why a lot of people are tuning in, but most, if not like 90 to 95% of the backyard wrestlers that I associate myself with, I don't watch their product. Like, and I don't mean that disrespectfully, you know, but
Man, I feel it.
you know what I mean? There's just so much. I associate myself with so much backyard wrestling that like every morning I wake up to either a text about some potential run, or a link to something that they want me to watch.
Now, see, like if someone would like recommend me, he's like, "Hey, could you watch this?" And I'll be like, "Sure," you know, like because I mean, I got recommended, you know.
Yeah, but I don't know. But people, when they recommend it to me, they want to hear more critique stuff. And I'm a busy guy. I got a lot going on. And
true.
And with some of the guys, they say, you know, if you do critique it, you're gonna kind of hurt their feelings a little bit, and then they're not going to. Because I've seen a lot of bad backyard wrestling, but I've also seen a lot of good backyard. Like I've seen a lot of good startup companies, like that right off the bat, they're actually doing pretty decent.
Right.
And then I've seen a lot that like started off like me, which like you sell a DDT by falling on your back. Like,
oh my god, DDT on the back?
Yeah, bro.
Do you do a fun flip or what?
No, bro. I was in in the 6th grade when we started it, and Bang Kid, like the tall guy in our federation, he was even tall in the 6th grade. Like he was so scared of falling on his head that he would just fall on his back, so he just like flop over like a fit. He looked like Vince McMahon taking the stunner.
For
like,
real.
On a DDT.
You only had one job.
It looked more like a swinging neck breaker than a DDT. Like it was terrible. Like I just fell on him.
Yeah, see, that's what I'm talking about, though, man. But like, you had a good point with that, though. I feel like people that start up and immediately have something going for them just have like a different drive and passion for it than a lot of the people that have been doing this for years. And like,
Exactly.
because people that follow me on Instagram, I know this is separate because this is like a YouTube thing, and I know Derrick posts this and other things. So if you happen to stumble upon this, I talk a lot of shit about different like things on backyard wrestling, and I do that not because I hate people. It's because I want the criticism to be out there so people can take it and actually fix their stuff. Because man,
for sure. Like Jim Cornette said in one of his episodes, because I like to listen to Jim Cornette. He once said, "Hate is a hell of a motivator."
It is, because people can sit there and, like, people post on social media for congratulations. And
for real.
The second someone's like, hey, this backyard wrestling shit sucks, I guarantee you're going to drop everything that you're doing. You're going to get in a fucking argument with that guy.
Yes, bro. As soon as I started the TWF TikTok, that shit immediately happened. Like
I remember that you were doing replies to them.
I know, and I was killing them too. They didn't know how to respond, and it was hilarious. Like there was a guy he was wearing a DC hat, and like he was wearing a DC hat. He was like 40. And he was telling me backyard wrestling sucks. I was like, bro, are you literally arguing with me right now? You're 45. Get a job. Like,
I remember that. Yeah.
No, it's like the polar spectrum. It's, because it's like inherently I compete in it. I've gone to different states with it and stuff, but in a sense, backyard wrestling is dumb. You know what I mean? Because it's like it's wrestling where you're not even trained. So it's like
you gotta trust each other, I guess.
Yeah, like the people that are trained fucking hate us. And then like the people who stumble upon us know we're not trained, so then they hate us. So it's like we have to carve out this fucking niche of people that like actually watch the product and trust that we can work with people and make it entertaining.
Right.
Gotcha.
So it's like when you see like a semi-popular backyard wrestler nowadays, it's like that person actually has something going on for themselves.
Mm-hmm.
No, I actually had a question for you, Jack. So I was looking through your stuff the other day, and I stumbled upon a comment, and somebody said they wanted to see you in the Indies, and you replied, "Not for me." Now, what's that about?
Ooh, that's a deep question. So
that's a good one.
That's a very good one. So around the time that MEBW was ending, Matt Thunder was going pro.
Mm-hmm.
And that was the main reason MEBW shut down, was because he was going pro. He was the main editor. We didn't really see ourselves lasting without him, so we decided to shut things down early. And around that same time, Chris Storm, Joe Dean, or Owen O'Ryan, and myself decided we were going to go to training. And this was around last year. So I'd finished up all my yarding stuff that I was like comfortable with. And like, I'll even admit this, during training, I was still yarding on the weekends when I had the free time to do so, which is a big no-no for training.
Definitely.
You will straight up get blacklisted from working around your indies if you backyard wrestle.
Uh-huh.
But I made it about 8 weeks through the training. My trainers really liked me. That's the one thing that I can take away from training is my trainers enjoyed what I did. They said I was the wild card. They said essentially there was like one guy in the class that they obviously knew was going to graduate, but everybody else was like, they were good. They were going to graduate, but they were like really curious to see how I was going to develop. Mm-hmm. What ended up happening was during my 8th week, there was this incredibly unsafe guy that was still in the class. He picked me up for a suplex. And when he picked me up for the suplex, like if you even know basic wrestling stuff, with the suplex, you're supposed to hold the guy until he flips over, and you're supposed to fall with him, right?
Yeah.
So simple. This guy, like, so simple. You can't like F it up. But go on.
Yeah, see, that's the those are the curse words there. It's so simple, and you can't fuck it up. But exactly. He did. Because he decided halfway through my flip that he was going to let me go.
Uh-huh.
So I came down on literally like the back of my like head first, and then my neck, and then like my knee smacked my head. And I was horribly concussed. So fucking bad. I remember like looking up. I remember seeing the lights. I don't remember like where I was. I don't remember what was going on. My trainer rushed the ring. He was like, I remember him like screaming like, "Get the fuck out of the ring!" Talking to the other guy.
Yeah.
And I thought I was fine. So the next day I come in for training and we start doing pin drills. So we started learning how to like properly pin people.
Mm-hmm.
And man, I started doing it, and all the like fast motion and the lights and stuff like that literally made me go into the bathroom and like throw up. So I knew something was like wrong.
Wow.
And so I stopped training. I said I would come back as soon as like I was like healed up from everything. But during training as well, you get a lot of time with your trainers, and you get a lot of the time with like the wrestlers that flow through the school that you happen to train at.
Mm-hmm.
And you get to learn about what the independent wrestling scene is like. You know,
Mm-hmm.
a lot of the independent wrestling scene is basically like, you're a green guy, so obviously you're not going to get any character work, and you're not going to get any time to really like showcase what you're like developing or doing anything cool. And the only time you get that is if you're over with like the boys in the back, and you'll understand that if you ever go to training, that everything is about that boys mentality. It's like what they want. And when I got removed from wrestling entirely, basically, because like that was a really dark period in like my like life overall, just because like I was really banking on going pro, sticking around with those guys.
Mm-hmm.
When I got removed from wrestling, I realized I really don't like indie wrestling. I don't like ever see myself really being on TV or anything like that. I realized like because I think a lot about life. I'm very meta. Like my brain works in a way where it's just like I ask myself why until I feel like I know everything. And
Understandable.
And I was just sitting there and I was thinking like, man, like why do I want to go indie when with my backyard stuff, like it's not liked by the indie guys, but I don't like the indie guys either. You know what I mean?
True.
And with my backyard stuff, I can go literally anywhere because I lucked out, and people know that I can work, and people like trust me to come out, and whether it be on a trampoline or on the ground or in a ring or fucking in a fucking basement or some random shit like that.
Yeah, I know what you're talking about.
Yeah, man. People trust me to work, and like I came up with this quote like a few months after I came back to wrestling. It's just like, why would I want to be a footnote on a mountain I don't even want to be on when I can be the king of my little hill?
True.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's valid, but I mean, this might just be me, but I'm gonna still try to be the king of that mountain. Like I mean, I don't care if I don't defy odds or something, but like I see, like I've seen a couple of your matches. I'm gonna be honest, I haven't watched everything, but like I see like so much potential in you. Like I see you going like really far on the indie scene because I'm telling you, bro, you got the look for it. You got the charisma for it. You got the love for it as well. It's just the fact of like I see it as just like you like, well, there's a million other guys that want to do this. Why is it me? But like, dude, the thing is that it could be you because all those other guys are thinking the exact same thing you are, man. Like it's crazy, but like you have created like such a legacy in BYW that's gonna be like it's hard to top, man. But I think that you should like go to the indies and do that, but with the indies, like because I'm telling you, you have so much potential, man.
I appreciate that opinion, and I respect you for that. To be honest, it's just I don't know, man. Like when it's so hard to describe because I've thought about it a million times in my head, but it's hard like vocalizing.
Feel it.
I've been told that, you know, like one of my trainers reached out to me and said the same thing when I started backyard wrestling again. He didn't like blacklist me from doing it because I never like debuted, but I think of it more as like, yes, I'm doing wrestling, but I feel like the reason I like backyard wrestling so much is it gets so this is the reason a lot of the indie wrestlers hate it is just I feel like it's more of a YouTube product than it really is wrestling. Because like we're like hiding our inability to like wrestle on an indie level on a trampoline in comparison to like actually being able to wrestle in an indie ring because we have like dramatic zoom in angles, We can edit things how we want. We can tell types of stories that like the indies can't, because the indies are just like
just for show, you know?
Exactly.
You just
Very
fucking
true.
show up and you wrestle fucking Billy Bob Joe, who's been there for 30 years, and he's never going to be on fucking AEW Dark, and you have to
Yeah.
lose in 5 minutes. So it's like how can you carve like that? Like I can suitably say that like yes, certain people in the indies are like famous to an extent, but it's like more people know and talk about me with just backyard wrestling than a lot of the people that are stuck in the indies.
Yeah.
Very true, and I see what you're trying to do, like recreate the legacy of BYW, because like I like as soon as I saw that you were in ESW, I was like, yeah, this dude's been watching BYW for a bit, like because I used to watch the ESW because like I used to love that shit, old school Giddens, Austin G, Alex G, and you know Wicked J, like all that shit, like it was the craziest shit to me back then, and like that was like the goal whenever I started backyard wrestling. Like it was like I was like I'm gonna be in KBW and I'm gonna be in ESW, like that was the first thought in my head, and like I vicariously lived through you seeing that Instagram post as soon as you posted it, and then I immediately went and watched the match.
Dude, I appreciate that so much. The ESW stuff has been like years in the making. I remember it was years ago. I'd had a match with Matt Thunder. It was a 3 stages of hell match, and randomly I like checked the comments, and Austin G himself like commented on the video. And I was like, there's no fucking way he actually like found this and watched it and enjoyed it. And I'll remember it to this day, because it's just like, I could not believe that, dude. And ESW has always been the one place I've wanted to go. And because I feel like as a community, I feel like every single person in the community has just been like, I want to go to ESW.
Yeah.
And very, very few. Like I can count on one hand how many crossover talents have been to ESW, and that includes myself now. Still less than 5. And I wanted to make like, so initially when I went out, I'm not going to discuss too much because Alex G, he is like the main guy at ESW, and he likes keeping a decent amount of secrecy around his stuff, and I'm going to respect that. But when I went out, I initially had a ton of different like plans of what I was going to do. But when he switched it up on me based on like a bunch of personal stuff that was happening there, I thought it was fucking perfect, because not a single person in the world would have guessed a crossover talent would have come in and won a title.
Oh, for sure. Like that was just out of nowhere, man. Like,
and let me tell you something too. I have 10,000 more respect for ESW because you know back in the day they used to fucking bump on the ground like nothing, right?
Oh yeah, like holy shit, you know.
There is one thing that no one's ever taken into consideration that makes that like so much harder to watch retrospectively now, is they live in Texas, okay? And the Texas like ground is literally just like there is no moisture anywhere because it's so fucking hot that the
dry
ground
sometimes, you know.
There is no fucking give in that ground. I took one bump on that ground, and that was the worst bump I've ever taken in my entire life.
Tell me about it.
It's taking a bump in the desert, man. Like,
yeah,
like that shit had to hurt.
Well, yeah,
I felt that shit in my soul.
Wow. Good God Almighty. Yeah, because over there, like, I'm pretty sure, like, the climate is way more different than, let's say, Michigan. You know. Like,
yeah. No. Very, very surprisingly, though, is Michigan because of the humidity. So you're familiar with the concept of like if it's hot out, you can go into like the shadows of somewhere, like you can go under a tree and it'll be like less hot.
Okay.
In Michigan, that does not apply. We have so much humidity because we're surrounded by all the lakes that it's hot. It's hot wherever you go. So there's no safe spot.
See, that was relatable, especially my time in Iowa when I went to go over there to work. Like everywhere you go, like you couldn't find like, you know, a nice cool spot to relax, you know?
Yeah, no, you always get like a little culture shock when you go somewhere else. That's another thing that I like when I like travel to different places. Because Texas is by far my favorite state I've ever visited.
That's dope.
It's very beautiful. I'd recommend even if you don't go on Wrestle, for ESW or anything. Just like if you ever have like a random inkling to like go on a vacation somewhere, go to Texas.
There's your calling, Sebastian.
Gotta go, man.
Yeah.
Gotta go.
I got a family member. You could say I got some family in Texas. So like I've been to Texas, mostly in the north part of Texas, the square area, you know, of the state.
Oh yeah, no, dude, Texas is massive. Texas, I didn't realize how big it was until I was actually there.
For sure.
No, and then another thing too. I know listening to this, probably like the only comment, because that's usually not to be mean, but the only person that comments on everything, Apache King. I love you.
If you're watching this or listening to this, thank you for listening to this episode.
I love that guy.
He usually tunes into most
stuff. Apache King and Mike Lopez.
Yeah, yeah. But Apache King will like drop some fucking lore. You know what I mean? Like he
drop
knows
like time zones, you know? Time slots or whatever it's called.
Oh yeah, the timestamps.
Yeah, there you go. Timestamps.
That's legendary. Like that makes me feel so good whenever he does that in the comment section.
Like especially for Devil's Night. I don't know if you saw the ones. I think it was on.
Yeah.
When we uploaded for ACW. Yeah.
What made me feel even better was in Devil's Night 2. He said that there was too many good points to put timestamps. I was like,
exactly.
Wow.
Damn. See, that's what you always want. That's what I've always tried to like strive for. Is if Apache King isn't watching my video, it means I didn't do a good enough job.
I see. Yeah. And it's like that's why I like how you mentioned earlier, because like backyarding, like you said, like they focus more on, you know, I guess you could say YouTubing more than wrestling, but like from what I've seen, like from what I think about, like, you know, backyarding on YouTube, like I try to like just entertain the fans, you know, like even though it's just backyarding, like sure.
Yeah, don't get me wrong though. Don't get me wrong, and don't mishear this. Most of the fucking backyard people that are going to end up listening to this, you still have to know how to wrestle.
Exactly, for real. You don't want to put on a donkey show, you know? Like, come on.
Yeah, bro. Here, I'll give you some quick fucking spoilers, and it'll fix 90% of your fucking problems. Work from the left, sell towards the hard camera, learn about match structure, and sell your fucking moves. That's all you need. That's literally that improved like 90% of everything that I've ever seen.
Exactly.
I think you need to do that, but you need to put sell the fucking moves as number one.
Yes.
Oh, definitely. Like for real, like because I remember like I told Jack Delta like how would you rate Derek Destroyer, and like he told me that I'm a great seller, if I recall.
Yeah. No, I think you are a great seller, Derek. You are you are very vocal. Like well. One thing I learned, a lot of my philosophy comes from the fact that I'm trained, but now that I have this knowledge, it's like one of those like Athlete X cheat codes for backyard wrestlers.
Yeah, the Godfather of backyard wrestling.
Yeah, fucking when you sell, it's basically meant to be like you're in that fucking move for real.
Exactly.
Like if you're in an ankle lock, you're not going to be sitting there gritting your. You're going to be screaming. Like,
exactly.
And plus, like the selling, like that's the fun part, because like if you're watching, you're like, oh shit, he's getting his ass kicked for real, you know, like that's like the fun part. But
yeah.
If you do a bad job at it, like the fans are kind of like will like lose vibe, or like will lose interest in it. I guess you could say that.
Yeah, no, because a lot of people are not good sellers, and I feel like they don't realize that. They're like. Hard part of like telling someone who doesn't like do that well for themselves that they're not doing that well is that means everything that they've done up to that point, like, not to be mean, is just kind of invalid, like in a way. And there's a certain, like, I'm not sitting here like shit talking everybody, because there's like I can't watch any of my shit from before the COVID break. So like a lot of my early MEBW I never go back and watch, despite like a lot of people telling me that like that's where some of their favorite matches of mine come from. But it's just like I have a certain like respect for like what I look like when I wrestle, and like back then it was not it, bro.
That's relatable. I mean, like hell, even when I watch my old stuff, like I just laugh at it, because you know, like come on, like I mean, we were just kids back then, you know, compare us to right now.
So serious, and you used to like think that was the fucking greatest match in the world, and back then you probably watched that shit like 10 times over.
You're like, Mom, check this out. Look, we're on YouTube, you know?
Yeah. I was doing my research for you earlier, and I rewatched one of the matches I watched from you before, which was the Worlds Collide versus Jay Creed. And I gotta be honest, your attire there pretty drippy, bro. Like,
you leave me alone.
it was, hey man,
From rap to riches.
that's what I'm saying, man. Like he was styling, man. He was styling.
That was something, bro. And I hate so much of my early because it was literally just like clothes, bro.
Yeah,
it was like shit fucking at Walmart that I go out and fucking wrestle in.
Yeah, because like on some backyard channels, like there's some people where like they put some time of making their attires, you know, and like there's other people that just wear like street clothes, you know, like, oh, okay, I'm just gonna wear a shirt and jeans, you know.
Yeah, no, I don't mind the jean thing, but it's just like I don't know. There's something weird about just like a dude who goes out and does like like a 9-minute technical wrestling match on a trampoline in jeans.
Right.
Yeah.
I mean, the way I see it, like I feel like you should like look cool, like look comfortable, like try to be comfortable. If you're especially gonna wrestle for 45 minutes, or I don't know, you know.
Man, I wore jeans for that match, for that 45-minute match. I regretted it, man. I was.
Like, those were jeans,
bro.
Yeah, those pants I was wearing, they were jeans. They were punk pants, and I had to peel them off me after the match. Like it was horrible.
Damn.
Yeah, and it's funny because even it was like a 45 Ironman minute. I feel like we could have done an hour. Like that's how much energy I had. Like I had so much adrenaline, you know.
Yeah, man.
Yeah,
I could have went for 3.
Because like since we had fans, like because that was like practically like the first time ever I competed in front of a fans or crowd, and like it just put me into a different dimension. You could say that.
Yeah, dude, because that's the one thing I will say indie wrestling has over backyard wrestling is they have constant like fan interaction and stuff, and you're more competing for that than for a camera.
Yeah,
you know. But competing in front of a crowd is it's different. It sends you into a fucking new level of like energy that you've never seen, and it'll make like because backyard wrestling like is make or break by the commentary. Because it's just like that's the only other voice you hear besides like the wrestlers selling moves. And like I swear sometimes there's like the commentary for things will like either make or break and make it like the greatest thing you've ever heard or like the worst thing you've ever seen.
Yeah, like if you see like a crazy spot, like the fans will be like, "Holy shit!" or "This is awesome," you know?
Yeah,
like
dude, because I've tuned into backyard wrestling and you can tell like someone had like dubbed over the audio, you know, because it's like clearly like them wrestling and like it's clearly their voice and everything, which I don't mind. But there are a lot of times that like they'll like dub over the audio, but it sounds like they're like in a basement and like the rest of the people in the house are sleeping.
Okay.
So loud. So they're like like they have like quiet pops. It's like the funniest thing.
Yeah. Right.
Like, oh my god, that was the craziest move.
Yeah. Yeah, POV. It's me playing with my action figures when I was like 10.
Right.
It's funny because look, if you're watching this on YouTube, like I have action figures right now, so you could be like, "Oh my god, he kicked him with DDT, boom!" You know?
Dude,
yeah.
I keep action figures in my wrestling bag so I can demonstrate moves to people who don't know what they are.
Oh, definitely, because like
that is smart.
Because look, my time in BTW, like when I was wrestling Jacob Wayne for the first time, like he was telling me, "Oh, I'm gonna do this move to you." Then, you know, at the time, I wouldn't say I don't watch wrestling 100%, but like, you know, I just keep up with WWE or AEW or just keep up with wrestling in general, you know?
Yeah.
So I'm not 100% familiar with the wrestling moves, but like if I see demonstrations, like I'll start getting the hang of it, you know, because it's better to visualize it than just hear about it, you know?
Yeah, no, we also live in an age where like if you don't keep up with wrestling, you're like basically out of the loop because they invent new wrestling moves every single week on AEW Dynamite.
True.
Yeah.
I mean, last time I watched like AEW fully was like when CM Punk was in it, but from now I just watch like the highlights because most of the time I'm just working, you know.
Bro, you need to turn that shit back on.
No, like I mean, I do like keep up with it. Like I just don't watch it like sitting down because I'm working, you know.
I feel.
No, I hate I hate AEW, bro. I'm not even lie.
Oh, good thing Jacob Wayne ain't listening to this.
Because he's Jacob Wayne. Jacob Wayne can slob on a big knob.
Jacob Wayne can't go on for 10 seconds without mentioning Jake Delta.
Dude, okay, I swear to God, there is a string of 6 videos in a row where he called me out or said something about me. And one of them is fucking William Barker, who I've never even fucking heard of, bro.
Oh, they're gonna get butthurt, the CBW guys. But go on.
I always get butthurt. Quick AEW opinion. That shit is literally just fucking 2K Universe going crazy because the guy is like has too much fucking money to actually like sit down and make a cohesive product.
I see.
Sorry, not sorry.
Very understandable. Very understandable. I see where you're getting at there, but there is a couple other flaws. What I also don't like is how like he's like, we're using this to push new wrestlers, and then keeps giving the title to Chris Jericho. Like,
no, I don't even care about that because it gets people talking about AEW. My issue with AEW is that they're like a backyard wrestling federation that has no control. They have like 1,800 championships on Dynamite, bro.
That's true.
They have the world title, the TNT title, the fucking All Atlantic Championship, the trios titles, tag titles, like 8 different women's championships. They have
TNT, the TBS, you know?
Yeah, they have the fucking Ring of Honor titles, all of them. And
FTW, you know?
They don't have, the fucking FTW. I don't even know what that is.
Me neither. I thought it was just a title that Taz made up or some shit.
Yeah, so they have all this bullshit, and they only have like 2 hours every week to showcase everything. So you'll have the fucking Ring of Honor TV title on there every like 8 weeks. How am I supposed to care about that? You don't.
Right. Like too much on my plate. Like, come on, you know?
Yeah, like, they will sign everybody. They will sign the fucking ex-WWE security guard and then highlight him on Dynamite, and then you won't see him for like a year and a half on Dynamite. Like,
right. No, but one thing I like about AEW is that like they have some good originals, you know?
To an extent.
True. I wouldn't want to say that, you know, I mean, it's kind of true, but like most of them are ex-WWE guys, but like, I mean, at the time when it was brand new, like I like the fact that it was like something else you could watch besides WWE, you know?
Yeah, no, it was fine. I think it was like okay until Cody Rhodes left. Once he left, that's when I feel like every WWE guy in existence is fucking there. And now that Triple H is in charge, guess what? Everyone's going back. Like,
for real.
Okay, Jack, don't hop off the call when I tell you this, but in my opinion, I think that MJF is the best wrestling heel of our generation, of this generation right now.
Oh, yeah, I mean, kind of, because there's not really any like true heels in anything. I mean,
right the dude, MJF, he literally went to UFC with the, you know, AEW title. Like, come on, you gotta give him credit.
I mean, that's cool.
Yeah, I mean, everyone's like wrestlers do that.
Realize he's only had 30 matches in all of AEW's history, and he's not gonna wrestle until like the pay-per-views.
True.
Granted, but it kind of just gives me like. It just gives every time that he speaks, it just gives me the Attitude Era vibes, and that's what I love about him because he's a heel, and like the fact that he doesn't wrestle as much, which means that we're gonna get more out of him. We're gonna have years upon years of it because he's not hurting his body as much as these other guys are.
Like instead of like watching him wrestle every week, like you gotta like wait until he wrestles SWAT, you know?
Exactly.
Yeah, that's a good point actually. Mm-hmm. He gives me more JBL vibes than Attitude Era.
For real.
Like JBL is like a perfect example of like MJF right now.
I feel like, but I have to say the promo. I don't think it was last week. It might have been 2 weeks ago, and I stumbled across it and I watched it, and it was just beautifully executed. So MJF had just won the AEW title, and then he didn't come out the week after because he was like fuck y'all, and then the week after that he came back and he does this thing where he like. Unveils the new belt, which looks exactly like the fucking other one, and
just like the different color of like matching the scar, you know?
Yeah, but then he like goes on about how much he loves William Regal, and then he does the punch to the back of the neck, which I seen it coming in the beginning. I seen it a little bit, but it was just the perfectness of right after whenever he goes and he grabs the microphone and he spits back that email that William Regal sent him 5 years ago whenever he applied for WWE, and he said no, it was just perfect because it was so cold. Like,
See, that's good character work and heel work, but like that's like the 1% in AEW. He's the only person that actually has anything like that going on.
Very true.
For real.
But, I will say I'm gonna bring this up myself because I'm tired of getting fucking questions asked about this. I I just want to mention this. I really am just going to go into super spoiler territory here with this because I don't care. I'm tired of hearing people ask about this, and this is nice that's an official format because I doubt that they have any plans to continue it. But I'm going to talk about like WWA for a second.
Okay. I try to contact them guys, but I haven't heard anything. But yeah, go on.
Yeah. I'll tell you all about their everything that's happened with them. So essentially, WWA, and I'll get into the Jake Frost situation too, because I feel like a few people like know about that, but they don't really
like
really
you want to address that, you know?
Yeah. So first off, WWA stuff. Initially, I think it was last year. We had done a taping with the J&A guys, so it was a bunch of the MABW guys, and it was like the J&A guys. So it was Jake Frost, Jet Johnson, Adam Andrews. Taping went whatever. Talk about that in a minute. But then we had another taping in like June, or something like that, where we finished out until about Backyard Mania 5, right?
Okay.
And that's right around when WWA stopped posting, right? Like we had the build up to it. We had Backyard Mania 5, and then there was probably like an episode or two that eked out, and then after that, it was gone. There was no explanation, right? So the behind the scenes stuff, I'm sure everyone's familiar with this. Lucas Jackson, he went pro. He went through training. He's officially under Luke Larson now.
The cowboy hat guy?
Yeah, the cowboy, Baby Undertaker is what I call him.
Yeah. Never heard that before.
Yeah, no. You got so mad at me when I called him that. So he thinned out, he trained up, he's pro now, but he was the main editor for WWA.
Oh,
and when he went pro, he told Carson Michaels that he was going to pass the editing ring off to him. And Carson Michaels actually did edit, and he pumped out a few episodes. But here's where the kicker kicks in, and this is like a spoiler I feel like no one's heard of. So WWA did have 2 tapings after that, three actually, where they had a few of the MEBW guys outside of myself go. They had Eddie Bannon and Corey Bacon go. Eddie didn't wrestle, but he was still there. And then the very surprising thing, and another thing that like I feel like backyard wrestling people don't talk about anymore. They had the MSW guys there. They had Rez Gaynor and Tyler Doom, which was set to be their first crossover appearance in backyard wrestling at the peak of their like popularity. Because like as soon as they burst onto the scene, everyone fucking loved them. I feel like everyone has heard of MSW at some point. And so what ended up happening was not only did Carson Michaels get super lazy with his editing, Luke was still involved with booking at that point. And between both tapings with the MSW guys, they didn't do anything significant. Like they didn't win any championships. They didn't really win any major matches. They barely did anything. And like it was to the point that I heard at the last taping that they had that Rez Gaynor's like final match or whatever with I think it was Gabriel White at the time, got cut short, and he literally like cried in the basement, and they had to like fucking like reprimand him and like just cheer him up somehow. And like it's a super fucked up situation. Because like at that point, Rez Gaynor had wanted to work with the MEBW and WWA guys because that was his ESW.
Yeah.
And that entire situation got fucked. Carson Michaels decided at one point after editing a decent bit of the episodes just before Rez Gaynor and all of them debuted that he just decided he was going to stop uploading. And that's where WWA stands to this day is they have all the footage. They have literally like I think like 5 to 6 months worth of like build and weekly episodes and pay-per-views. But Carson Michaels just decided one day he was done and decided not to upload it unedited or anything. So he just kind of left that entire like fan base just like hanging.
Like it left any cliffhanger, you know?
Yeah, and because I was so heavily associated with WWA, like honestly, like the only time WWA is even talked about on the internet from backyard wrestlers anymore is just either me mentioning that I work there or people asking where it is.
Yeah. Because I remember like, because I remember I was talking to Carson Michaels last summer, I believe so, and we were talking about like that he's doing taping or some stuff. And at the time, I was in Iowa, and I talked to him like, "Hey, I'm interested of like legit traveling to you to Ohio, because they're from Ohio, right?"
Yeah, they're in Ohio.
Yeah. So like to me, like I didn't mind driving, but because I really want to like show some dedication, because like I want to be a part of that, but like I never got the message back.
Yeah, no, he got very like stingy towards the end. It's
sure.
almost like uncharacteristic of like how
Mhm.
stingy he got.
Like something
And
just happened,
yeah, he just like one day just decided he was done, and like
Mhm.
there's nothing you can really do to like change that. And it's
For
unfortunate
sure.
because it's like something with WWA. It was genuinely like whether people liked it or not, it was a sequel like Baby Child of MEBW, and a lot of people held on to that. You know,
Right. And I remember
um,
hearing about this post or something. I forgot who it was. I'm not sure if it was you or somebody, but I remember during 2020, that's when people pretty much stopped yarding. And like I heard someone say something like WWA is still gonna go on for like a year or two or something like that. I remember hearing something about that. Then they pretty much stopped last year, if I'm correct.
yeah, okay. So from the time that they had planned, right? So
Mm-hmm.
from the last upload that they had, so say it was in August, they would have been uploading their stuff until that next February of like how much content they actually had filmed.
Wow.
Yeah, but they just stopped. They didn't.
Uh-huh.
They didn't just mass upload it. They didn't say anything. They didn't give a fucking promo saying like WWE is over. We're sorry for all
Uh-huh.
the like the abrupt ending or anything. Because like I know there's like companies that have done that, and I respect
True.
them a lot for it now that WWE didn't.
Because I
Um,
I believe like it would be nice to at least like show some closure. Like even if you guys ain't just wrestling, like even if it's just like everybody from that channel just giving a speech about like thank you for like supporting us throughout the years. Like I thought it would be just a good way to like let the fan base know about it.
yeah, because there were a lot of people that watched WWA. Like
Right.
WWE was one of the like few companies at the time that drew over 1,000 views per video,
Mm-hmm.
which which is
Now,
like
go ahead.
go ahead.
Yeah. Oh, sorry, but I was going to change the topic, but
Oh, go ahead.
what I was going to say was I was looking in speaking of shutting down companies, VTW. I seen you wanted to have a match with anybody from there, so and you said Dustin Reagan specifically. Why Dustin Reagan?
Oh man, so I went on a VTW binge like a year or two ago
Mm-hmm.
because I had heard of VTW and I had like occasionally watched some VTW product, but I actually like tuned into VTW. I started from like episode 1 and I'd watched up to a certain point, and every single episode I'd watched, Dustin Reagan, he was just like, I'm not saying anybody there is a bad worker by any means at all, because like anybody there like outclasses like 90% of the people I yard with today.
Yeah.
And but Dustin Reagan, something about just his work ethic and his character just like sets him apart from that roster to me.
So
Right.
I actually had a story about Dustin Reagan. So I trained with VTW for a little bit. They brought
Did
me
you
in.
really?
I really did. I was in Best in the Yard 4 pre-show. I wrestled Casey Chambers.
No
Uh,
fucking way. I didn't know that about you.
yes, I was Malachi Reimer, and I wrestled Best in the Yard 4 pre-show. It was a squash match. I fucking lost. But anyways,
But the
so
fact that you had a chance, like that's just dope in
yeah,
Yeah,
general.
the
well,
fact that you've competed on Best in the Yard and I haven't
yeah.
is absolutely insane.
Yeah,
For real.
that's the only thing that I really have for backyard wrestling, and I don't even really talk about it much on the TWF channel because I try to separate Malachi Reimer from the virus and caution because I was a jobber in fucking VTW, but
Wow.
but anyways, so I had met Dustin Reagan one day. We were out there and we were all doing training, and he said that he wanted to give me a chest slap because I was the new guy, and Aaron
Oh,
Jones.
fuck.
Yeah, Aaron Jones wouldn't let him because I was down. Like, because to be honest, like I had rarely watched VTW at that point. Like, I had watched a couple videos. Because I got in touch with Cameron Jackson right before Best in the Yard 3 had even been filmed, and after that, like it was a couple months after Best in the Yard 3 was filmed, I came down there and I started training with him in like March of that year, and So like they were getting me comfortable, and I've wrestled most of the VTW guys like in training matches. I never had like real published matches, but I wrestled most of them, and I just remember Dusty Reagan, like he wanted to give me one, but they wouldn't let him because they thought he was going to kill me because I was like 120 pounds at the time and I was 14.
Wow.
Yeah.
See, that's the outlaw fucking shit in backyard wrestling I like to hear.
Yeah. Oh, and which
ready to chop the shit out of this kid.
Yeah. But this is another thing. So the last time that we had an episode of Beyond the Yard podcast, I did not get to say my story that I wanted to say because it related to Best in the Yard 4. Okay, so I need to tell the story. So it was the night before Best in the Yard 4, right? And it is Aaron Jones' house, and it is filled with wrestlers. Everybody that was on the card of Best in the Yard 4 was staying at Aaron Jones' house.
I remember you told me about
scary,
that when I came over. I remember that.
Levels of shit.
That's what I'm saying, bro. Okay, so Rick Rios, I think that's his name. Rick Rios, I think that's his name. But anyways, so it was me, it was TJ Sakara, and it was who was the other guy? I don't remember, but we smoked weed. we smoked
there.
So we smoked weed on the porch that night, and one of the other people that were there, I can't name his name right now because he's actively on the indie scene, and I don't want to put him out like that. But he got high and he got scared of the cops, so like he ran, and the cops weren't even there. He just thought they were coming. But anyways, so like I said, at the time I was 14, and I passed out on the porch, right? So like, and they left me there, man.
Oh fuck!
So I fell asleep on the porch swing out on the porch, and then Cameron came out there and made sure I was all right, and he told me he was like, "You really gonna smoke the night before your match?" I'm like, "Man, I was just trying to have a good time." But anyway, so later on that night, it was like 1:00 in the morning. Navon McDonald comes walking up the steps. Hey, Sebastian, what are you doing out here sleeping? And Navon McDonald offered to let me stay in a hotel room with him, but I declined it to sleep on a porch because I was stoned and I didn't know how to answer.
Wow.
So I slept on a porch swing the night before Best in the Yard 4.
Wow.
Wow, that's insane. God. All right. So despite us never meeting in person, Caution, I can say I can like match you with one story because I have also hung out with Navon McDonald and Cameron Jackson.
Hell yeah! So my guess is NUW or UWE, I think.
No, it was a one-off appearance in Maximus Roman's EBW.
Got you. Got you.
So every time I went out to EBW, I had wildly different plans every time I went out there. Like that Jay Creed match that you were just talking about.
Yeah.
When I was going out there, despite it being like 4 months into my career, the initial plan before they just didn't want to tape more matches was I was supposed to beat Jay Creed for the world title.
Damn.
I like switched it up on me. Because that was also the same taping we filmed Unfinished Business, hence why like everyone's attire was basically the same.
Right.
You go back and rewatch that, but don't actually. That pay-per-view is horrible. So it was the third time we went out to EBW, trip-wise. And when we went out there, I was texting Navon heavily through the week before. I'm like, bro, you have to get out here. This is gonna be like the last time we're coming out to EBW. I don't know when the fuck I'm ever coming out for NUW because I don't know what their like taping schedule's like or like why they don't even post anymore or anything like that.
Yeah.
So I was like, you have to get your ass out here. And he had texted me the day of like this one day we were taping. And he's like, I might be able to make it. Just send me the address. And if I make it, I make it. If I don't, I don't. I'm like, okay. And I sent him the address. And I was mid-match with the Executioner in EBW. And I did this like one spot where I like grabbed his leg and I did a giant elbow drop on it. And I like, when I went to go for the wrench on it, I look up. And it was literally direct eye contact with Navon McDonald for the first time in my life.
Wow.
and right behind him, without him telling me, was Cameron Jackson. And I'm like, no fucking way.
Bro, that is crazy.
So me and him had like an impromptu matchup for that like taping date and everything, and it's still one of my favorite matches I've ever had because Navon McDonald, when he goes in there, he means fucking business, bro. And Sebastian knows more than anybody. Navon McDonald is not playing no fucking character. That is just Navon McDonald.
Yes, that is Navon motherfucking McDonald. Like he's just him, man. Like he lives, breathes being the king of the fucking mountain. Like,
yeah, that is his voice. That is his attitude. Like everything about him.
Yes. The king of the mountain. The king.
I love that Navon has such an easily like makeable voice like that, because it's almost like how people whip out a fucking Mickey Mouse or a Kermit. You just have your like Navon McDonald there.
Yeah.
Right. You just like hire the octave of your Cat Williams impression. Like oh man.
No, so then I wrestled in a match, but then after that, I thought that was done. I thought that was my interaction with him. But then that night, he and Cameron Jackson stayed at our hotel room. And like even less subtlety than you, because this was at a time in my life where I smoked and I drank. Mm-hmm. Everyone was incredibly fucked up. I'm not even gonna like try to sugarcoat it.
Oh yeah.
I remember being so fucking crossfaded, and I looked at Navon and I'm like, I know you have it. and he looks at me and he's like, boy, what do you mean by that? And I all that fucking deck of Uno cards out.
Wow.
Because if you know Navon, and if you know his online reputation, you know that he is like accused of being like the biggest cheater at Uno ever. And he always wins games.
Interesting. Because when I play Uno, I play with money, you know, because I like to add more stuff on the stakes, you know, or raise the stakes.
You're scary, bro. I don't play with money on my
Don't play with Navon.
Don't play with Navon.
I don't know, because look, when I play Uno, I kind of use my reverse psychology. Well, like now you guys know already, but you know.
Yeah, I'll tell you right now, I don't know how he did it,
but he did it.
I don't know where it came from, but he won every single game that we played.
Ron McDonald, if you're listening to this, I challenge you to an Uno match.
He's gonna kick your ass, bro. No, but I remember that was like one of my like top 5 moments. I don't really like get to talk about, but I remember being like incredibly messed up. But like I was like walking to the bathroom that night.
Okay.
I looked over on the couch. And I thought about like all the times in my life I never thought I'd get to work with that man, and then I look on the couch, and then there is just Navon McDonald and Cameron Jackson sleeping.
That's what I'm saying. Like me and Cameron, we were really, really close at one point. Like whenever I was in VTW, whenever I first started, like he knew like a lot about my home life, which wasn't good at the time. So like he was like helping me get into practice. Like he was like trying to push me in there, and he was just like breaking his way into the indie scene at the time. So like I got to see like one of his first indie matches, which was like really awesome to see. So I got to see Cam grow from where it is now. The guy, he's working in I think it's like XXA down here in North Carolina, and he has his own what the fuck's it called? He had his own pay-per-view not too long ago. The
you're talking about Block Party?
Yes, Cameron Jackson Block Party. I watched that full thing. That shit was amazing.
Yeah, bro. See, that's what I'm talking about. See, this is how interconnected backyard wrestling is, and this is how like long I can keep connecting these things, because I've like I think one time in this podcast I have like directly said, all right, this company, but most of the time like our conversation just flows, and I'll connect it to a different company that's on my list. Because next up, I was going to say, if you didn't know this, Cameron Jackson took under his wing all the guys from TBW, and he's like their trainer.
Gotcha.
Not the Tennessee one, not the one fucking Ric Flair, but
yeah, I know which one. No, but like the one that had Dak Ryan in it, right? If I'm correct.
Yeah, Dak Ryan, yes. Tyler Green, fucking Johnny Blade, Damian Wayne, all them motherfuckers. Every single one of them. All of them got trained by Cameron Jackson.
That's fucking dope.
That's cool shit.
All of them with varying success on the indies. I actually, by the way, little known fact, I talk about it every once in a while, But I did actually end up having a match with Dak Ryan when I went down to ATW. So here's the situation. Sebastian gets this entire like lore drop of like years of backyard wrestling. By the way, this is great. So ATW is this trampoline fed. This is, Christian Archer
and his brother.
And his brother, whatever the fuck he called himself. He so much.
Right, but go on.
I got invited down there. I had a full run planned. I filmed about half of it, but things got scuffed with time, and the entire run didn't get filmed like how I wanted it to.
Yeah.
Because the entire point of the run was I was feuding with Kent Havoc at the time, and he had this green belt that he had gifted J&A. You remember that belt,
yes.
Derrick?
Yeah, I know exactly which title we're talking about.
The international?
Yes.
Yeah, so he gifted that title to J&A, who in turn gave that title to ATW. And I decided, because I was feuding with Kent Havoc at the time, how fucking sick would it be if I went to ATW and literally won that championship and left ATW and had it for the rest of my life?
For real.
Add the storyline.
Exactly.
So I did this entire storyline where I went down there. I won the title. I called their fucking company trash. But what ended up happening was we filmed everything but the match of me winning it, because my flight was like so early the next day, and we just did not get time.
Wow.
But while I was there, Christian Archer actually has a trainer that is breaking him into the indie scene. That's why ATW isn't posting as much either.
Yeah.
He was actually on their product for a while too. If you go back and watch the name of it, it's called. His name was Kalen J. And Kalen J. Had offered that if I showed up to this indie place, that I would get added to his match.
Wow.
And I'm like, of fucking course I'm gonna show up. And then I get there, and I shit you not, guess who's in my fucking match?
Who?
Dak Ryan.
Wow.
Bro.
Yeah, so I got to see them again, and that was fucking amazing.
That's amazing. Because I want to say I'm close to Dak Ryan, but like he's, I guess, like one of the good friends I have, especially in like the wrestling world community, you know.
Yeah, so, Dak's a very nice guy.
Yeah, so I talked to Dak Ryan. I showed him my Devil's Night match with Caution, and like I told him that this hands down was like the best performance I've ever done, and he agrees with me because like he says the moment. Because I was the heel during that situation. And he loved the fact that I show, like, no fear to the crowd. Like, I wasn't like, oh, shit, I'm going to, like, die tonight. No, like, I own that shit. Even Sebastian knows that.
Yeah.
And, like, the fact that he told me that, like, I'm, like, really great at selling, like, just keep working on it. Like, that's just pretty cool, especially for a guy like Dak Ryan. Like, hell, he's even, like, up there and, like, in the indies. And, like, just hearing that, like, feels like amazing, phenomenal,
Yeah, that's one thing you'll come to find too, is just like when the backyard people do eventually go indie, you'll really see their true character.
Right.
Because I'm not gonna say who, and like I hope this sparks some fucking controversy, but one of my friends that went pro, it turns out he hated me the entire time he worked with me.
Shit.
Shit on me. And like a lot of the stuff that I stood for once I like dropped out of training, and he basically called me low life. He said that he knew I was going to drop out of training, and he says I'm never going to do anything with my life.
Mm-hmm.
I can't wait for this to come out, and then everyone start talking about it and try to figure out who. But
for real,
Jack, you need to prove that motherfucker wrong. You need to prove that motherfucker wrong. Come on, Jack. I need you on the indies. We need to set this up, man. I'm already retired from backyard, man.
I don't know, man. I've got a good thing with ESW, and I value YouTube views and YouTube comments more than I do a hot dog and a handshake. For real.
Very true.
Right.
Very true.
No, but like the cool thing I like about this podcast, like sure it's like just backyard, like sure we started off as backyard wrestling, but like the fact that the idea started off like Beyond the Yard is like it's just more than just backyard wrestling. Like we just go off on that. Like hell, like we could like go on like about like indies, professional, like stuff like that. You know, like.
Well, yeah, this is meant to be. Yeah, this is meant to be a little time capsule. This like time period.
Exactly. Like, and the thing that I love about it is that like this video might not be popular today, but like when if backyard wrestling ever like spikes like it does whenever like it first started, like whatever the Mick Foley shit was going down, like shit like this is gonna be huge.
Like,
yeah, that's the thing too. It's just like I know I could go be a successful indie wrestler, but what if I'm the guy that leads the charge? What if I'm the guy that like makes backyard wrestling popular?
For real.
I'm like a fucking an Austin G in my own right.
Mm-hmm.
You know, because I will say, don't take offense to this, anyone. That includes you, Derrick. That includes you, Caution.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think, since MABW shut down, and EBW shut down because they were another major one, that there is a single definitive backyard wrestling place anymore.
No,
for sure.
I think like the community right now, I'll tell you right now, is in shambles. And it's very hard for like everyone to pick up the fucking pieces.
That's true.
For sure. Unless you have like, Instagram.
Because once like MEBW and EBW like stripped out, or like, you know, like I guess like just stopped, like at that moment I was just like, you know, just kept my ACW community together, you know? Because like there's the, like in my opinion, there's the ACW community, then there's the backyard community, you know?
Yeah, exactly. See, I'm glad you have that perspective on that, Derrick. I respect you a lot for that.
Because like the way I saw with ACW, like we changed our channel from ACW to ACW Network, so it's not just about like, you know, ACW like War or like WrestleMania or whatnot. Like we could also focus on, you know, Beyond the Yard, and hell, like we want to try to do something like where it's just the boys having a good time together, you know, because we just want to have like the best moments together. That's why we started ACW.
Yeah, that's what you need to hold on to, bro. I'm telling you right now, when you turn into me and all you have is just fucking traveling to rinky dink feds everywhere, it's a weird different experience in comparison to like hanging out with just your friends.
Oh, definitely.
Now, another question that I wanted to ask you. So the ESW experience, like if you can dive into it, I understand if you can't, but if you can dive into it, like what was that like being at ESW?
ESW is phenomenal. I'll start off by saying that like the roster members are as crazy as they seem. Like there was one particular roster member who walked in, he had a TV with him.
Okay.
And he's like, I'm going through this today. That was his first thing he said to Alex G. Not hi, not how are you doing? I'm going through this TV.
Right.
That was pretty much me with Efren, man.
Pretty much.
Oh, you crazy bastard too?
Oh yeah, I'm crazy. I'm batshit. As soon as Efren got here, I was walking him back to like the place he was going to be staying, and I pointed at the table. I said, one of us is going through this shit.
Yeah,
and it's ironic because we actually both did.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, but
hey, so he wasn't wrong.
No, that's true.
But continue.
Well, go on. Yeah, you go.
But I will say I did get the most authentic ESW experience I could have ever possibly asked for. Mm-hmm. When I got there, it was just myself and Alistair Alva, who's like a newer guy for the Shockwave seasons. Gotcha. He was the world champion last season, going into the season finale and everything. Great dude. I love that guy. Fucking we get to the ring, and the previous week they'd filmed like a fucking deathmatch bullshit tournament for their Patreon. So my first experience with ESW was grabbing a push broom and pushing all the glass out of the ring.
Uh-huh.
Damn.
I think that's so fucking fitting. And I also can't spoil when it comes out, but I will say for everyone who will tune into this eventually, fucking please, when it does come out, go watch my match with Jacob Prodigy. That got to be continued on everybody. Mm-hmm. It is one of the best matches I've ever had.
Wow, that's awesome. But how did it feel the moment that you got that interstate championship?
Oh, dude, it was so good. I'm not even gonna lie. Like literally, like I usually wear my like emotions on my face. It's like a lot of the times, like in MEBW, they'd be like, People are just like, oh yeah, that moment was made because you were literally fucking crying, and I'm like, yeah, it was. But for ESW, when I around the time I had whipped Blake Pierce around for the Rainmaker, I was like, bro, this is unreal.
Okay.
I fucking made it all the way across the country.
Bro,
I'm wrestling in a 20 by 20 ring for the company I've always wanted to wrestle for.
Nice.
And I'm debuting as a surprise and winning the championship, dude. Like, that literally is what you fucking strive for as a competitor.
Yeah.
Bro,
and when the fans witness that, that's like a big holy shit moment, you know?
Yeah, and even better than that is after I had won the title, we went immediately into me versus Jacob Prodigy. And after the match with Jacob, all of the roster was impressed with me.
Nice.
Because the roster, I can tell you right now, every single one of them, they do not give a shit about backyard wrestling outside of ESW. That is why it's so secluded.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
But it's because, and that's the reason I respect them so much, Alex G has a vision for his fucking product.
Yeah.
He knows what he wants. I can't tell you, I literally can't tell you, but I can't tell you the painstaking fucking detail he goes through to make Shockwave look so good, bro. He slaves away on that fucking product.
Mm-hmm.
And when I impress the other roster members that aren't inherently familiar with me, because the only people that were familiar with me before I had went was Alex and Austin, Jacob Prodigy, and Blake Pierce. Every other person either wasn't familiar with me or they didn't give a shit who I was, to be honest.
Okay.
But after I'd finished my match, everyone was complimenting me, and it was awesome.
Mm-hmm.
No, but that
was crazy, man.
No, so another really quick thing I can talk about too is so this isn't the only this isn't the only Texas company I work for, because I work for WCEF as well. So when I went down for WCEF, it was very cool because I wrestled, I shit you not, 22 matches in 2 days.
Wow.
And that doesn't include build, promos, fucking blah, 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 blah. Can't spoil that stuff because none of it's not all of it's out yet. But I will say the one interesting thing that did happen was I had filmed a match with this guy named Tyler Lee there. And when I wrestled him initially, the first time I went to Texas, he had this party frat boy fucking LMFAO gimmick.
Okay.
And the match went 5 minutes. Unintentionally. Mostly because I was tired. Mostly because I wanted the match to get done.
Yeah.
All right, hey, you're heading back out to wrestle this guy next. And I'm like, okay. So I wrestled him, blah, 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 blah. And then while I'm in Texas for ESW, I'm getting texts from the main guy that books WCF. And he's like, bro, you got to come out to WCF one more time because this dude changed his fucking gimmick. I'm like, what the fuck?
Damn.
So I went back out and I refilmed another match for WCF with his new character before I had went to ESW and trained.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, and that's it's so cool, actually being able to sit here and talk to you guys about how many fucking random backstage experiences and stuff that I have, because a lot of the time all you see is the YouTube product.
For sure.
So
and if it's fun asking, how was your traveling? How was that experience?
Oh, I'll tell you right now. I go through it when I travel, bro. So, spoiler alert, this is for all the other backyard wrestlers who want to travel and stuff. The way to do it very incredibly cheap, and the reason I'm able to make it to so many places is 2 reasons. One, I get in contact with people, and I get well-liked enough that they'll let me stay at their place. And that's a big risk on both of our parts, because literally that's the opposite of what fucking our parents told us. Don't talk to strangers on the internet.
We're all like on the last episode, I told Caution, because we never met in person, but we pretty much grew up watching each other's content. I drove, I shit you not, half of the country to North Carolina to somebody that I never met before. And I didn't even tell my parents about that until I got back.
I have a question though. Since the last podcast, have you told her?
No.
Damn it.
I mean, sure, I'll tell her when the time is proper. I mean, it's not a big deal anymore, but I just,
you have
I don't want to be hey, Mom, I know I didn't tell you a few months ago, but I went to North Carolina
Will you make like a hidden camera video for this reaction?
Oh,
like,
dude, that'd be great. That'd be some great ACW network content.
Yeah, then I'll show her like what I actually did my time in North Carolina. Like I'll show her like this table spots, the when you spear me to the Titantron, you know?
Yeah.
Oh my God, dude.
Watch the highlight video. Like mom,
shit out of that. Mom beats.
like Mother Destroyer reacts to highlights of Devil's Night 2.
For real. What I'm planning to do, I'm gonna make her sit down. I'm gonna make her watch the entire highlights, but I'm also gonna like record her reaction, and I'm gonna post it on the ACW and you see how it goes. Maybe hopefully she doesn't either pull out the chancla or the belt, you know?
Oh, I don't even recognize the first object, which means it's gonna give you a concussion.
Somebody called the EMTs, you know?
Yeah.
Oh, shit.
Good God Almighty! I mean, growing up Hispanic, like that was a nightmare. I mean, it still is, but yeah.
Yeah, no, the white people equivalent to that for me was, believe it or not, you know what? I'll drop some lore information here.
Mm-hmm.
My mom is black.
Okay.
Yeah, so my mom would beat the shit out of me with whatever she could get her hands on.
Oh shit!
My mom just paintbrushed my face.
Like if we're out in the store, like she would either hit me where like the camera's not showing, or like if we're standing in front of the camera, like she'll be smiling at me and she'll be like, "Well, wait until we get home."
My mom don't care. My mom pepper me in front of the camera.
Yeah, that's my mom, bro. She's cooking with fucking frying pans. I'm getting hit with that hot ass pan, bro.
Yeah, bro.
Oh,
yeah, bro.
Fuck.
Well, do we have the same mom? Like,
Actually, bro, are we stepbrothers? Are we Will Ferrell and that other guy I always forget the name of?
John C. Reilly?
Is our mother part of the multiverse or what?
Oh, multiverse, dude. Don't get me started on like Marvel, bro. I could do an entire podcast separate from that with this.
Maybe we could do that another time, you know?
Oh, I'd be down.
For real. Did you know when I went to go watch? Oh shit! Sorry, my bad.
Yeah, no, I got to get this information out there because I know there are a lot of people that aspire to do similar things to me. But number one, get in contact with people to the point that they are willing to drive to the airport to get your ass. And then number two, buy cheap flights. Because I will tell you right now, top 10 worst moments of my life, going to Texas and coming back from Texas. You know why? Okay. Because, listen to this. I got trips to Texas both ways, round trip, for $300 each.
What do you mean by round trips?
Round trips meaning...
Oh, round trips. Okay, I get you now.
Yeah, so like I go there and I come back, and that's the full price of the ticket.
That's what I did during my time in BTW.
Yeah, so you can understand that like $300 for a round trip ticket halfway across the fucking country, if not all the way, is incredible.
Yeah.
But the drawback of such a cheap ticket is you're taking away the convenience of flying faster for your time. Mm-hmm. So each of those trips had an overnight layover, which means I had to stop in either Georgia or Florida and then stay there for 10 hours.
Mm-hmm.
And that shit was miserable.
Yeah. Just out of curiosity, because this happened to me, but like it was after the taping, but like there was an overlay. Like let's say the overlay is like 10 hours. Like what do you do like during that time span?
Oh, I make sure my phone is charged. I watch videos. I have a Nintendo Switch that I play a lot of games on.
Nice.
I hope none of the battery life runs out, because otherwise I'm staring at the wall or I'm talking to weird people in the airport.
True. Would you ever take a small naps or no?
I wouldn't
take small nap? No, I don't trust being out in public. Not at all.
See, that's what I was thinking when that happened to me.
Yeah, bro.
No, I will say I did have a genuinely funny experience on the first plane trip to ESW.
Okay.
I sat down and I had my Switch out and I was playing Smash Bros by myself, and the guy next to me like looks over and he's like, "Hey,
okay,
you playing Smash Bros?" And I'm like, "Yeah." He's like, "Oh, can I play?" I'm like, "Yeah, sure." And then for 45 minutes straight, this dude murdered me.
Wow.
And I'm not one of those guys that like sit here and say like, you know, like I'm genuinely like good at a video game, but I'm pretty fucking good at Smash Bros.
Okay.
I've grown up playing the series.
Yeah.
And at one point I'm just like, dude, what's the fucking issue here? Like you're kicking my ass. It's not even like comparable.
Uh-huh.
It turns out, I shit you not, This guy is a Smash Bros. Professional player. And the layover that he was on, he was going to Paris to compete in a fucking tournament.
Yeah.
Bro, that's crazy.
Yeah, dude. And I'm like, I got a few stocks off of him. But like the chances of me sitting down next to this guy, it was over. Like as soon as I sat down, this dude was gonna murder me.
Sure.
That is crazy.
Like me, because I'm a gamer. Like I wouldn't consider myself good, but like, you know, I guess I'm like, you know, I do pretty good gaming, I guess. But when I go against a tryhard, like it hits different. Like, come on, like you're trying your best, and he's just treating you like nothing, you know?
Yeah, no, I hate that. Wait, Derek, I wait until you like randomly fucking stumble across a pro at some game, bro, where they literally like spend hundreds of thousands of fucking hours in fucking training mode.
Right.
This dude was hitting me with combos that I'd see in compilations, and I'd like fucking
real.
in real life.
Like that's so relatable because like I'll play like Mortal Kombat online, and they just keep like doing moves that I can't even do until like I mastered that shit for like a month, you know?
Yeah, fighting game people scare the shit out of me.
I know. Like hell, I have a video game, like a huge ass video game collection. If you didn't notice, but you know, but when the other people are like fucking tryhards, like they kind of piss you off, you know?
Oh yeah, dude. What was I gonna say? I'm trying to think. Is there any company I haven't like particularly talked about?
Well, this is what I was thinking, because like you and I we've practically been to TWF, but we've been to different TWFs, you know?
Oh yeah, you're right.
I thought that was like something cool.
One of the most common names.
Yeah.
TWF's a fun experience. Like with the guys. I'm sure a few of the guys will listen to this, but like I've said this to them in person. But a lot of the stuff with TWF is they don't treat it as seriously as I do.
True.
Because this is this is a hobby for me, but I also treat my hobbies very seriously. This is just like a hobby to them. This is like what video games are to them, basically.
Okay.
Like, you know, like if they have the time for it, they'll show up and they'll care. But like if they don't, if there's anything else going on, they're not going to be there.
Yeah.
So it's very hard to tape with them. And with that, I will say, I love the TWF guys, and I know when they hear this, they're going to be very mad at me. But I think a lot of the product for TWF is kind of booty. Not because the guys don't like fucking like when they actually get there and they care and they want to wrestle that it's like horrible. It's just I've had zero time to actually like sit there and train them and like do anything with them. And they are like the purest forms of backyard wrestlers. And I'm sure when Apache King hears this, he's going to agree. But a lot of them have a lot of stuff they have to work on.
Okay.
They do care though, which starting next year, spoiler alert, I'm going to be like in more of a leadership position, helping them. Hopefully get things where we want eventually getting crossover talent in, because that's like my main goal is like get them good enough. Like I trust them enough that they'll be there when I get these crossover people to come out.
Okay.
But TWF overall, it's fine. Like guys are good. I wish we'd be able to take more, but when I am there, I will say it's very directionless too. That's one thing that I'm going to try to fix next year. Is like I feel like any of the uploads we do can just be uploaded whenever the fuck, because like there isn't any like production
schedule.
Yeah, there isn't any production to show where we are in the story, essentially.
Yeah.
Like each video is its own video, and like it's cool that people subscribe and stuff like that. But like, here's something in backyard wrestling we can all relate to and talk about: is all the goddamn pedophiles.
Oh my god!
Good God Almighty!
Oh my god, bro!
Oh wow!
Yeah,
that.
This
That
is something that needs to be addressed.
Yeah,
and I'm going to be addressed.
Address it.
What
the fuck?
Yeah, motherfucking Tom Safone.
I've never seen people so down bad for people, bro.
I know. And if you think about it, we're like a few years ago, like we were considered as kids, you know? I mean, now we're adults, but yeah, it's still,
that's why most of the pedos don't ever comment on me, because I'm not in their fucking age range.
I get a comment every single TWF video. Do a tombstone.
For real. Like, did you not watch Devil's Night? Like, come on. Like,
I literally ended the match with a tombstone, bro.
Yeah, like come on, like how, like that couldn't have been any more perfect than that. Like, come on.
They will comment anything. They have the weirdest fucking fetishes I've ever seen in my life, dude.
Yeah,
like,
bro.
Turned on by a sleeper.
Can you zoom in on the faces more at the end of the matches whenever the
can
person's
you
lost?
rip your shirt off, foot pins, fucking take the shoes off.
Can you do more taunts and stuff? You know? God damn.
Like, I don't care to a certain extent because, like, I'm not gonna lie, like that's one of the reasons like a lot of good backyard wrestling channels get views is they do put sus ass fucking thumbnails. I ain't gonna cap.
For like, okay, I'm not gonna say this just being a dick, but to be honest, CBW wrestling needs better work on their thumbnails.
CBW?
Yeah.
Are we going into full shoot mode here? Do you want my full opinions?
Okay, look. Okay, here, before we do that, like, I had an idea for Beyond the Yard. There was a thing that I wanted to do, like, let's say 30 minutes in the episode. I wanted to, like, have, like, a button where it has, like, a sound effect and it has, like, guns blazing. Where it would be like, pew, 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 pew. Then, like, my guest, he'll be like, what is that? Then I'll be like, well, if you haven't noticed, it's time for the shooting range, you know?
Oh, my God.
I
have like the fucking. You remember that fucking button thing that iCarly would press before?
Yes, exactly. That's what I had in mind.
Random dancing.
Then like,
or the theoretical gun shooting off right now. Are you about to ask me a bunch of different company opinions? Because I could shoot. CBW. They have so much like stuff they can work on, bro. I love Jacob Wayne. Okay, so let me air this out there for the people that have listened for an hour and 30 minutes and are still listening.
Yeah.
Me and Jacob Wayne are fine. We're perfectly like fine in terms of like talking to each other and stuff. And a lot of the stuff that we do is just like working everybody.
Like business related.
Yeah, business related. It's just a hype up, man. Like, dude, Jacob Wayne, shut the fuck up. Why are you talking about Jack Delta again? Like that's why I keep making memes about him.
For real.
But CBW, and like I can say this because like it's general criticism, and if he gets mad about it, he gets mad about it. I don't care. They need a lot of work. Like their like intro is like screen recorded. True. Like, and you can not like screen recorded off a phone. It's like it was on a different phone and then like recorded from a different phone.
Yeah,
definitely.
Their cutouts are absolute butt. It looks like fucking like someone like screenshotted shit from Instagram and then just like cut them out from there.
For real.
Yeah.
And this is just me, but like sometimes it's not like the right size. Like when you put one person next to the other, it's not like the same size. Yeah, bro. But that's just me though.
No, it isn't just you. It's me too. I'm not going to go into particulars with certain people because I do respect the people, and eventually I might work with them. Eventually I might not. Hint, hint, wink, wink.
Yeah.
But a lot of them need work. A lot of them are very, very not good. Like for lack of a better term, like they have a lot of stuff they can work on.
Okay.
That's why when I'm doing my call outs and stuff, I'm only particularly talking about Jacob Wayne because I've seen him with better competitors that aren't from CBW work an actual match and be good.
I don't know if you saw that video where like CBW wrestling like announced Wrestle Throne. I don't know if you've seen that video.
Trust me, I watched it. Half of it was just him talking about me.
Yeah. I mean, I know he mentioned, Derek Destroyer, and he also mentioned Caution, but, I don't know.
I don't know. Maybe there is a universe where all three of us are at Wrestle Throne, and who knows? Maybe there's not. Who knows? Multiverse is a weird place, right, Derek?
Yeah, that is true. I agree with you. But what was I going to say? Yeah, because you know how earlier you were talking about, like, hell, we could talk about Marvel for, like, hours,
Mm-hmm.
And there was one thing I wanted to state. When Spider-Man came out, it's about to be crazy because Spider-Man No Way Home almost came out, like, almost a year ago,
Yep.
So when I went to go watch it, me and the boys, we wanted to go dress up as the Sinister Six. Like, I thought that'd be pretty cool.
6 people going to the theater with you? That's almost more impressive than you guys wanting to dress up.
Exactly. But, like, they didn't, like, wanted to buy the costume, or they didn't want to put the effort. So I was like, fuck it. I'm just going to wear my symbiote Spider-Man suit. And I posted on Instagram. I don't know if you ever saw it, but it was me posing as Spider-Man in front of the poster.
That's dope as shit.
Yeah. Then I was going around. I was like fucking mimicking Tobey Maguire. I was like, I'm gonna put dirt in your eyes and stuff like this. Like,
did you do the dance right before?
Yeah, like it's on YouTube. Like on my Efrenation, like I'm doing the where you the finger the gun point. You know?
Yeah.
I was doing that, and I even brought my speaker and I was like blasting that shit during the movie theaters. Or like not in the movies, but like in the concession stuff. But not a lot of people like understood the reference, but like they're not.
Well, because Spider-Man. Okay, so here's one thing that we can talk about too is I feel like a lot of people just follow like trends, and they don't like care. They don't care about like shit outside of that. It's like give me $1 for every time you've heard God of War Ragnarok is the best game of all time.
I know.
or fucking what's the game of the week this week? Is it Sonic Frontiers? Like Sonic Frontiers is the best game.
Look, the moment you said that, look, right now in my hands, I know you can't see this, but by the time this video is uploaded, and if you're watching from my camera, I have a poster of Sonic Frontier. But good God Almighty! Yep. But go on.
But people do that with everything, dude. They do that with movies. They do that with TV shows. How many times have you fucking heard Squid Games, bro? And you've never even watched the show, or you did because it was so popular.
Okay, I watched it because like everybody was always talking about it. I like the show, but like I just hate how people are always talking about it. Not that it's bad or anything, but like for example on TikTok, they would always use the sound effects and shit. Like it kind of got annoying,
Yeah, no, people do that with everything though. But then
what is it called? They made a new Netflix show. It's like the Addams Family Wednesday.
That shit was garbage. That shit was garbage.
I prefer the 1991 Addams Family.
People can pump out fucking anything nowadays, and people will like it because it's just like a popular thing and some type of thing. Because they don't have critical fucking mindsets when it comes to like watching anything. They just watch it and they're like, oh, that's fucking neat, and then they move on.
I feel like every movie in 2022 is just like they're just grabbing movies from like the 90s and just trying to remake shit. Just
oh yeah, no, 100%.
It's annoying as shit.
All movies are either sequels or remakes. There's no, they're like, and then once in a great while, there's something original. But by original, I mean they took someone else's idea and then they shoved fucking Brad Pitt or like Adam Sandler or like a recognizable name, so you actually go and see the movie.
True,
very true.
Because no one's gonna go see fucking Daddy's Home if fucking Mark Wahlberg isn't in it. Like.
Like sure, you may watch it when it's on Netflix, like just to see what's about. But like, there's a movie. I like it a lot because the dude from Breaking Bad and Better Call Saul, Bob Durkin, is in it. Last year they made a movie. It was called Nobody. I don't know if you heard about that movie. So it's pretty much.
I remember seeing the poster for it.
Yeah, so it's pretty much like a John Wick movie, but it's from like a family man's point of view.
Interesting. I like that concept.
And I like that movie because like. Sure, it's from the same people that brought you John Wick, but like I saw it different as John Wick because I've never seen a John Wick movie, believe it or not. Like, sure, a lot of people always talk about John Wick. What's that?
John Wick is okay. So let me describe something for you real quick.
Okay.
Action movies are best when they don't have the WWE cut, and if you don't know what I mean by the WWE cut, sorry to ruin WWE for every single person that watches this. Every time a move hits in WWE, they switch camera angles.
True.
Yeah.
Every time. Sorry for ruining it. Go watch any match from the past like 10 years. So action movies are the same way with me. I hate the action movies that have WWE cuts. Every time they punch, they switch camera angles because it's clearly they switch to like stunt doubles and shit. John Wick is not one of those movies. John Wick is like purely you could see Keanu Reeves doing all his action shots. It's long, continuous scenes. That's why I love movies like that. I love The Raid. I love the Daredevil Marvel show. For real. Anything like that. That's because it takes actual talent to produce that stuff and not just fucking 10 bajillion camera cuts.
Like, for example, like, this is what I like about DC. I mean, sure, a lot of people say, oh, what do you like DC? Or like Marvel's better stuff. But like the Batman, for example, like his films, like, what I like about Batman, the films, is they rely more on practical effects than CGI and stuff. Yeah. So, like, especially like on the fighting scenes, like they put a lot of effort behind that, especially if you had a chance to watch the new Batman movie,
I have not watched the new Batman movie. I've heard good things, but I'm not. I'm giving DC a few years to actually like get good and make all their projects good before I watch.
It's sad that like they're fucking up DC. Like, to be honest.
Well, it's because they choose the wrong people and they choose the wrong actors.
I know.
Like, fucking Ben Affleck as Batman is like the worst casting decision ever.
I see. I mean, it's not that I disagree with you.
Batman is the same person that made Chris Pratt Mario.
True. The thing I don't like about the new Mario movie is that Chris Pratt doesn't put the Mario voice, you know? Like, come on, like, you had one job. Like, come on, like, you're supposed to say, everybody knows how Mario sounds like. It's like, it's me, Mario. Like, how can you not say that? Like, come on. At least they got Luigi, right? You know?
Yeah, no, everybody else sounds fantastic. Like, Jack Black Bowser is the most base thing on the entire internet right now.
Yes.
And fucking Chris Pratt literally was just like, you can tell that motherfucker just took that paycheck, bro. Like, like they
wow.
Like, so there's these things that they do called Nintendo Directs where like they'll like announce something and then they'll be like, hey, here's some extra interviews and stuff like that. You can tell Chris Pratt filmed his in like 3 minutes and he just bullshitted everything he said.
Yeah. But the way I see
like, me and Mario go way back.
Yeah. Hell, like, since I'm a video game collector, do you know what a Nintendo Entertainment System is?
Oh my God, Derek! Don't sit here and like act like I'm not like I'm well versed in video games. I probably know more. About video games.
I'm not saying that to you. I'm saying that to the fans so they could be aware of it. But
okay.
I actually own Super Mario Bros. / Duck Hunt cartridge.
Based.
And it still works. Hell, come on! Like, I bought that during like a garage sale, and I thought it was a pretty cool find. Because how much do you know? Like, how many people do you know that owns like an NES? You know, like original, not the small one that comes with like 50 games or 100. You know,
not many, to be honest.
True.
I will say, do we have any more backyard wrestling questions for? Because we are.
What about you, Caution?
Hour and 40 minutes.
Yeah, pretty much.
Let me look back at my notes here. I just gotta scroll through your 17 championships. Give me a second.
I would like to say my time during BTW, we were chilling and I got to watch your match against Swift.
Yeah, it was a pretty solid matchup. The only thing I remember getting really fucked up in that was he didn't tell me he was going for a gut wrench suplex and he just like dropped my ass.
Yeah, I remember when I watched that, I felt like, oh shit.
Yeah, everything with that Swift match was pretty cool. Because we had filmed that when RJS was out for MEBW.
Mm-hmm.
And Swift didn't even debut on MEBW like at all. He was literally there for just that match. I think it's pretty fucking cool.
He only had one match, right?
Yep, it was just against me.
Wow.
And I'm not gonna lie, I might get a little heat for it from Ryan, but like up until that point, I didn't know who the fuck Swift was. So when he was like, "Hey, I got another guy who wants to come out and wrestle a match, but I wanted to be an MEBW guy," I'm like, "All right, he's wrestling Raylo Lantana."
Okay. I see.
But no, then I took the match. And it was solid, man. Like it wasn't like fucking like it wasn't my favorite match of all time, but like I can go back and watch it, which is just good.
But
for sure.
Going back, I did find 2 more questions for you, which they both kind of go hand in hand together. So I'm gonna give them to you both at the same time because they're pretty much the same question. Who are your top 5 favorite backyard wrestlers, and what is your dream BYW opponent?
Ooh. Oh, all right. Top. Okay, so top. What was top 5 again?
Yes, top 5 backyard wrestlers.
Wrestlers, like of all time.
Yeah, of all time.
All right, this list goes in no particular order because like my like mindset towards them changes every day.
Gotcha.
Oh, definitely.
I think top 5 backyard wrestlers of all time have to be like the actual most popular people because of what they've did for backyard wrestling in general.
True.
Yeah, I'm not gonna like point you out and be like
yeah.
It's like he's popular. It's like, well, he's one of the only ones you can really find.
Yeah.
Yeah, like there's a fucking reason that they're popular.
Exactly.
Number 1, no particular order. Matt DeMorris. He isn't particularly like talked about too much anymore, but like I guarantee you in your lifetime you've seen a clip from him and you don't know that you've even seen a clip from him.
Right.
He was doing stuff in backyards 15 years before AEW Dynamite was doing the shit that they're doing, and he did it better.
Mm-hmm.
On the ground, no training. I don't know if he got trained or not, but Matt DeMorris 10,000%, and like I would go as far as to say that is my dream opponent. Like if I was just buckled down and say like of the people that I've like taped stuff with that I'm not allowed to talk about and different companies and everything, if I were to bring one person back to the yard or even go to the fucking indies to face, it would 100% be Matt DeMorris.
Okay.
I just respect him a lot and a lot of stuff that he's done. He acknowledges me sometimes, but not enough that he's ever shown interest in like having a match.
Mm-hmm.
So I hope one day I get big enough in backyard wrestling, something that changes his mind. But he's my number one, like without a shadow of a doubt. Number two, I'll say 2 and 3. Wicked J.
Nice.
Just because, like, obviously, like I feel like if you've heard of backyard wrestling, it's probably through Wicked J and everything that he's done.
Yeah.
And even though he isn't like around anymore for unfortunate circumstances and stuff, the legacy that he left with backyard wrestling is absolutely incredible. Like, I can't tell you, I can't. You could pay me $1 for how many fucking Joker gimmicks and Juggalo gimmicks I've seen in backyard wrestling, and I wouldn't be able to buy WWE with that money. Austin G is another one. I think he's a phenomenal talent, and he's been doing it since he was tiny, bro. He's been doing it since like fucking like 10.
Yeah, man. I've watched for a long time of ESW.
Outside of that, I think those are the most important people for backyard wrestling. I know a lot of people love Cage, but believe it or not, I never really tuned into KBW.
What?
Yeah.
Wow.
Maybe I might get a bunch of flack for that, and I'll go watch it. But like, I feel like Cage is almost like, don't hate me for this because I'm like, this is like casual opinion here, but Cage is in a very similar vein to Grimm from Grimm's Toy Show, where a lot of their YouTube channel is carried by their personality more so than like their actual product.
Okay.
And I feel like people like Cage for Cage.
Understandable. I mean, what I seen from KBW, I didn't like, because that was one of the channels that I seen that it wasn't just Cage, because you can like, because every backyard wrestling channel, like 90% of them, like the person who owns the channel is the champion, and he was like one of the first people, like he put the championship on him. But then whenever like you had AK-47 come in, and like AK-47 was just like a good hit, like you could really tell that they knew the business at that point. Whenever they were just like 14, like they knew more than just backyard wrestle, beat up each other on a trampoline. Like they knew ring psychology without even like really realizing it at like fucking 13, 14, whenever they were doing it. Like they were really fucking good.
For sure.
Like,
yeah, no, I love when people pick up on that way earlier because I feel like to a certain extent they probably did look into it, because there's no way you like accidentally discover how to fucking that. So Cage isn't one of them. I don't know. Outside of that, like I feel like those are like the main people that everybody associates backyard wrestling with. So like the rest of it is just kind of like what I think current BYW like stands at.
and you also mentioned Grimm's Toy Show. So, and I also seen you posted them earlier on in the week. So what's up with that?
Oh, I'm doing that solely for clout. I want to face Grimm so I can be on a fucking channel that has 50 bajillion million views for no reason.
Yeah,
that'd be fucking dope.
Agreed.
I grew watching Grimm's Toy Show.
I don't watch Grimm's Toy Show.
I
just want to face Grimm because I think it's funny. Genuine.
I don't need more, bro. I used to actually get into it whenever I was like starting to do backyard wrestling. Like I used to watch like the videos every week for like a couple months, but then I was this is stupid. Like this is retarded. Why am I still watching this? I feel like I'm losing brain cells more and more every day. Like,
yep.
the one thing I like, I mean, there's a lot of things I like about Grimm's Tour Show because I grew up watching that. But one thing I really fucking love about Grimm's Tour Show is his friend that he has. He calls him Freddy Fuckface, Freddy Fish Farts. You remember?
Yeah.
And he's like so obsessed with John Cena.
Oh my fucking god!
All the names that he comes up with.
See, no, Grimm's Toy Show just reminds me of like iCarly humor, but like the time that Fred was there. Like
okay, yeah.
like funny, like fucking wacky. Like it was like the start of when like the internet really made you start losing your fucking brain. Like Vines and TikToks. You know, like
he just reminds me of what I'm gonna be like when I'm like 40.
To be honest, I don't know if there's anything past because like I kind of should say myself, like even if that's really fucked up, but like I can't name a person that's been to more companies than me.
True.
At the same time, I also say like Maximus Roman because I really respect what he did with EBW.
Mm-hmm.
For sure.
There's like a lot of like minor people, but no one's like really like because I think grand scale things and stuff, and I'm talking like I could walk up to like a random person at like say a wrestling event, not on the street because backyard wrestling is not that big.
True.
But like a random person at a wrestling event and be like, "Hey, have you ever watched ESW before?" And there's like a good fucking chance that someone's watched that fucking shit before.
Yeah. I mean, it just takes a lot of dedication because you said that, you know, traveling to a lot of different federations, like hell, like I try to do something like that too. Like in my 2020 promo, where like I pretty much, you know, call out everybody, which, you know, I got big heat, not gonna lie, but the concept behind that was just to like have like dream matches with him, you know, like have the ability to like travel to them, you know?
Yeah, and go to places.
Yeah.
Because here's something I do respect about you, Derek. And like I feel like a lot of people can take from you in comparison to how they do their traveling and stuff. Is you actually aim to go to the big places. You go to the places with like subscribers and like decent amount of views and like some variety of names and stuff.
Definitely.
And I feel like a lot of fucking people travel to what they can go to, and it's the most winky dink fucking fed you've ever seen in your life.
Right. I mean, I've traveled to JNA and I thought like that was pretty dope until, you know, I dislocated my knee. Then I kind of went downhill. Then, you know, next year, the year after that, I started talking to Caution, and, you know, we made a match that not a lot of people thought it would have happened. And a year after that, we had a rematch. And, you know, it still feels unbelievable if you ask me.
Yeah, no, JNA was good. BTW was a big one. TBW was big for you as well. I'm just glad because, like, 90% of the time when someone, like, announces that they've gone to a new federation, it's like, I've never heard of that federation. And if I haven't heard of that federation, that means no one's heard of that federation.
True.
Because, like, I could name hundreds of backyard wrestling federations that I'm aware of, and I'm aware of, like, storylines and stuff that have gone on in them and stuff. And just, like, I think the biggest problem with backyard wrestling is everyone wants to book.
True.
No one's fine with just, like, there's two things wrong. Obviously, number one is, like, everyone can't travel, and no one's close enough to have, like, a coherent company. But that is because you can pre-tape stuff, you know, because I literally have like a fucking 6-month, 7-month WCEF run, and I filmed it in 2 days.
Yeah. See, that's what happened with my time in BTW. Like we filmed late May, and like it ended till late November.
Yeah. No. See, so BTW. You want my shoot opinion on all the BTW stuff?
Go ahead.
It was fine outside of the like CBW undercard people. But to fill out that much time period stuff, you guys had so much jobber shit on there that like I tuned out. I'm not gonna lie.
I understand. Like, I'm not trying to like shoot on Ryan or anything, but like I felt like quality over quantity, you know?
Yeah, like I would much rather you guys would have gone and done build than have like fucking Invisible Man on the product at all.
True. The one thing I would say is that on ACW, because we had Skullface and BTW, like, you know, like Skullface, he kind of like faced a lot of jobbers over there. But like in ACW, like he was like world champion, and hell, he even shaved my head. You know, like it kind of felt like a bit of a downgrade, if you ask me.
Yeah, to a certain extent, it's like I'm not gonna lie. Like, very rarely in backyard wrestling do you get good masked luchador characters, because everyone and their mom associates when you see a luchador mask in backyard wrestling, it's just the main guy of the company under a mask and they're a jobber. like, we're getting real here. It's like whenever I see jobber versus jobber stuff, I'm like, it just means they couldn't get enough people to that taping to actually film something that they
true.
So I don't know. I would. That's the only thing I would have changed about BTW's like season. Is like I tuned in for the bigger matches. Like I watched like anytime it was like any combination of like BSU, Jacob Wayne, RJS, and Swift.
Yeah.
Anything outside of that, I was asleep. I'm not gonna lie.
For sure. I mean, don't get me wrong, because like with ACW, like we did use a bunch of masked characters, but that was just to fill in, like especially when we did the Rumble, you know.
Oh yeah, dude, I can't tell you. Like literally, the only Rumble I've ever seen in my life in backyard wrestling that wasn't masked characters was VTW. Every other Rumble I've ever seen has been like, it's been me 4 times, but I'm playing fucking Mankind and Dude Love and
yeah, for sure.
But no, I do appreciate people fucking trying to go out of their way to put on a good product and stuff with masked characters. But the issue is when they do these masked characters and stuff, they do no like semblance of like making it not look like them. You know what I mean? Like you can clearly fucking tell it's him, but now I'm supposed to believe it's this other guy. Like, no, you didn't even change your fucking recording location when you did your promo. Like,
and one thing I would say, especially like when you're playing a different character, like some people would just put on like a mask, but like with Skullface, I like to like have that character like wear different like attires, like, you know, like just so suspension of disbelief, you know?
Yeah, you gotta have stuff that makes you not look like you.
Exactly.
The biggest thing of being a mask character, we're supposed to believe that this guy's from fucking parts unknown or Mexico.
Exactly. Like change it up a bit, you know?
Yeah. No, I think that's my biggest thing with backyard wrestling is just like there needs to be like one group of people that like puts all their drama aside. They put everything aside. They focus on actually making a good product and actually learning camera work, commentary, editing, getting decent enough at wrestling that it looks watchable, learning storylines, and then if stuff doesn't work out, learn how to rebook and make everybody happy. Because guess what? Literally, like the first fucking like year or 2 of my career, all I did was lose. And you want to know something really fucking surprising? Ever since I've come back to wrestling, you know, there's like big grand return of Jack Delta from fucking indie wrestling and yard shit.
Okay.
I've not had a main world title push anywhere. I don't think I've been challenged for a world title. I've been a fucking undercard little bitch ever since I've come back. But you know what I do? I put myself over on social media.
That's true.
I make everything that I do count. Because like outside of that, what else are you gonna do? You know what I mean?
Exactly.
But I'm fine with that though. Like even if I don't say it on camera that I'm fine being a fucking undercard person, some people have to be, and people just don't recognize that. They're like, oh, I can't lose. I've got this entire idea for this fucking character, Lois. Like, you know what I mean? Like,
yeah,
they just fucking they just have this big fucking stuck up idea about losing and like, oh, it affects my character, and it's like, no, it doesn't. No one fucking cares. No
plus
one
when you lose,
but you.
Exactly. Like when you lose, like sometimes that's the fun part, you know? Like, okay, what could you do now since you lost? You know, like that's the fun part.
Yeah,
I wouldn't say it's fun,
so, like,
but exactly.
Yeah, like for me, for example, like when I go into a match, everyone automatically expects me to win. So when I lose, people are like, "Man, that's fucking weird. Why did Jack Delta just lose?"
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And if you don't have the expectation for yourself and for your character, and be fine with putting up like, there's like a company that I'm going to soon that I'm not going to like really like talk about or explain stuff with, but it's an undercard slot and stuff. I feel like, and I'm not going to say this to this guy, and he'll probably figure it out when he like listens to this, but like I feel like he doesn't want to put me over. Yeah, like he has all these like random booking plans and stuff like that, where like if I win this said championship, I'm beating him in a triple threat and I'm pinning the other guy, you know, and like I'm losing to him, but I'm fine with that. because it's for the betterment of his product and it's his vision. And if he doesn't see me capable of beating him despite everything that I've done, I'm fine with that.
Mm-hmm. And one thing I do want to say is that you could say I did have a chance to meet you. It was during the BTW crossover, you know?
Yep. I think that's
And
like a good final thing to end on, because this is 2 hours. I don't know if that exceeds all the other ones you've done, but
true. I mean, I did 2 hours with my homie, you could say that, from CMW, the Australian guys.
Oh, BXB?
Yes, BXB.
Yeah, that dude's dope.
And
are they still doing stuff?
Not necessarily, because like most of the time, like when I talk to him, he's like working, or like they're kind of doing their own stuff now. They're living their life, I guess you could say that.
Oh, that's unfortunate. That's how it always goes.
I know. But like what I like to do, like for example, for Devil's Night, like I talked to BXB. I was like, hey, since you were there for the first night, I was wondering if you wanted to do the honors and being a part of it again. And he was like happy to be a part of it, because like he liked the feeling of like, you know, being on our show, like interacting. You could say that, or like just to be out there again, you know?
Yeah, no, that's dope.
Because
I wish all the way across the planet. So
yeah. Okay, so when I did my podcast episodes, like our longest episode was like 2 hours and something. So we're like 12 hours apart. So I started filming like at 2 a.m. with him.
Oh my God! And like what?
Over there would be like, I don't know, like 3 p.m. or something.
What the fuck?
Yeah, just the more you know.
That's fucking wild.
Yeah, and you know, I really enjoyed, because you know that was his free time, I guess, and it's kind of hard talking to someone that's like 12 hours apart with you and like different time zones and stuff. So by the time we're sleeping, you know, they're awake, you know. Yeah,
like they're doing their whole entire day. They could be mid fucking work shift, and you're like mid sleep.
Exactly.
That's wild.
Caution.
Yes, sir.
You know how you mentioned like, you know how you asked Jack Delta his top 5 backyard wrestlers? What about you?
My top 5 backyard wrestlers. I, without a shadow of a doubt, put Cameron Jackson number 1. That's my dog. Like he has.
Well, that's actually fitting.
Yeah, he's got big shoes to fill. And number 2, got to put AK-47, just because I liked his heel character work in KBW. Back in the day.
That's a W.
Yeah, KBW. That's how Mr. O used to say it.
Yeah.
But God, who would I put at number 3?
Actually, after thinking about it, I'd throw Cameron Jackson on my list too.
I would have to put Navon on there, just because of NUW and all he did with that, because it was really entertaining product.
Yeah.
God, I gotta think here. Like because I rarely watch backyard wrestling anymore, so I gotta like think back to when I did.
Yeah.
Dude, that goes back to my point though. There's not like a definitive backyard thing anymore.
Yeah. I gotta put Wicked J in there.
Okay.
What are we at? That's 4, right?
That's 4.
All right. I gotta find a good one for 5. God.
Whoever your number 5 is going to change after I send you Matt DeMorris videos. I'll tell you that right now.
I'm gonna be on. I mean, technically, it's true. CM Punk, he was a backyard wrestler.
It's funny that you mentioned that. I literally have that on my list right now, because I made a list. Like the moment Jack Delta was talking about his top 5, I put that on my list.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
Yes, I put CM Punk on there I mean, I never even watched CM Punk shit, but I don't even like CM Punk as a wrestler, much less. Mm-hmm. So I'll put him as a backyard wrestler, because that's what I view him as. He looks like one, man. He's the only guy that's on any roster that looks like a backyard wrestler. And
I'm gonna stop you right now. There's one person on fucking AEW that literally has like a more backyard wrestling attire than me.
Who?
Eddie Kingston.
Who? Eddie Kingston.
Eddie Kingston.
Okay, yeah, Eddie Kingston. Eddie Kingston does. I could see him look like a backyard wrestler.
ACW literally any day, bro.
Yeah, right. Like
no, but it's funny.
Like
Jack. I know. No, but it's funny that you mentioned that, Caution, because CM Punk did start off as a backyard wrestler,
Mm-hmm.
And so my top 5, I guess this is like, I would say just like who I would say that's my top 5. You know, like there's a difference between top 5 and your Mount Rushmore. You know.
Yeah.
But I would say this is in different order. It's not in 1 to 3 or 4 or 5 order. But I would say one of them, number 1, would be AK-47 from KBW.
Okay.
I grew up watching them guys, especially the Rumble, like the hype beat of the I'm gonna win. You know, like holy shit, that was a good ass hype. The second position would be Maximus Roman, because I grew up watching on their old channel before it got deleted.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
I would have probably put Max on my list. I put him over CM Punk.
Yeah, and I'm glad that I had a chance to have Maximus Roman. I believe twice on the show, because we talked about. As a matter of fact, we actually filmed our episode right after their last show. The Last Stand was uploaded, so I got to watch it. Then I got to do the podcast with him.
Oh, so it was just memory.
Yes. So number 3 would be Matt Thunder from MEBW. And the moment that Matt Thunder and Maximus Roman collide, like, holy shit, it kind of felt like a fucking huge ass crossover, you know?
Yeah.
And my number 4 position would be BXB from CMW. Because I love their matches, like the way that how smooth their matches are, you know? The flips and stuff, like, hell, I can't even do shit like that. Like, that still amazes me.
Yeah, they're the best trampoline wrestlers I think I've ever seen.
Yeah. I remember there was a few times, like my time in BTW, I wore it, just to pay tribute to him. I thought it was like a nice nod.
Yeah, no, that's very cool.
Jack, I don't know, Jack. I don't know if you were around for the days that Backyard Wrestling was done on Hangouts, but do you remember Joe Razor by any chance?
Joe Razor. That sounds vaguely familiar. Like, what was he associated with?
He had. I think his original company was called JBW, and then he called it JRW for Joe Razor Wrestling. Like,
no, but I'm gonna do research after this, because once I learn about something, I go and watch it.
No. This is what I was getting at. I was asking because I wanted to see if you knew, like, if this dude was okay or anything, because he deleted all the videos off of his channel.
Wow. Oh no.
Yeah, but this dude, he started so much shit, like, in the Backyard Wrestling community. Like, he got in with a bunch of federations, and they created this product, BYW Mania, I think.
Oh my god. Yeah.
He was the leader of the cult. And yeah, man, we got into some heated arguments with him over Hangouts back then. I just remember that. I just wanted to see if you knew who he was, because like I went back to look at his channel.
Yeah, no, I remember all the arguments and stuff. I don't really remember like ever like particularly speaking to the guy, but I do remember that being like a big fucking thing back then.
Yeah, man, like that was Hangouts calls all the time. Like there was constantly people fighting over that shit. Like,
wow.
Yeah, man, like my
that's like a deep
yeah, my counterpart in TWF, my Ace Diamond, he got into like a very heated like it made him so mad that he was like outside beating a tree with a baseball bat, like to release frustration. Like he was like so angry at this kid over like trampoline wrestling that didn't matter. Like it was just so funny to me, because it was just over some dumb shit. Like we were so young.
That's how fucking Instagram drama be, bro.
Yeah, man.
Like I remember,
especially when you call them out, you know.
Oh yeah, when you call them out. But even better than that is like, Derek, were you around for that fan poll that everybody got mad at?
Yes.
Yes, bro. Like Mike Lopez did a fucking fan poll, and everyone rigged it certain ways so like the rounds would go funny as fuck.
Yeah.
And someone beat somebody, bro, and I just remember that was my entire fucking feed that day, dude.
Oh shit.
I was like, bro, who cares? Like, of course, no one's ever even heard of the guy that won the fucking tournament.
For
like,
real.
That's crazy.
Like some people disagree on like how it went, but like it doesn't matter. Like, does it matter? You know, like, you know.
It doesn't matter. That's the best
Exactly.
part. Everyone gets so fucking angry about everything, bro.
Like, sure, I guess it's fun. Like when you watch it, I'm like, oh, okay, like who's gonna win? But like, you don't have to like make it a big deal out of it. Like, it's just
see, no, that's another thing too. Is just like a lot of people are so snarky on Instagram because that's like where a lot of views come from nowadays.
True.
You know, because it's just how everyone markets themselves and stuff. And even if like indie wrestlers or non-backyard wrestling fans find my page and stuff, they'll randomly like compliment me or make edits of me and stuff. And it's because I don't sit there and fucking get angry at everything all day.
Yeah.
Like people like try to like people will say the worst shit in the world on their Instagram, and then when they like are asked about it, they're like, "Oh, that's just my character." It's like that is not your fucking character.
Bullshit.
You're just being an asshole.
Exactly.
But any final questions?
Well, this ain't a question, but I just want to finish my top 5. My number 5 would be Ray's Gainer.
Oh, Rez Gainer.
Yeah, from MSW. As a matter of fact, I try to legit travel to them this summer, to Florida, to do a crossover. But like, they kind of like stopped making videos and they stopped replying. Then, like, I don't know. Like, it's like how you said, it's one of those channels that just go unnoticed. You know, like they just.
And it's all because of the WWA stuff that I had mentioned. At least in my head canon, because like they did those WWA trips. They posted that last video, I think, of like that really good match between him and Tyler Doom.
Right.
And then after that, they just stopped posting. So that's my headcanon. That's what I'm pretty sure happened with them.
I see. Well, I would say this would be my final question. What's your thoughts on BFW Super Show? I don't know if you heard about that.
BFW Super Show. Are you talking about Boom Figs?
Yes.
Oh, I thought they were fine. I mean, I like the product enough that I like wanted to wrestle Eddie Bannon.
Yeah. Because the reason why I asked that is because like a few months ago, I believe it was in the summer, you had like guys like what's his name? Hell, I can't remember his name, but yeah, like they did like a crossover show, you know, and they wrestled inside the ring.
Yeah, it was basically like a mini MEBW taping.
Pretty much.
But, yeah, so they justified it by saying that it was a small indie show, and that's why they were able to wrestle each other, because everyone there was like trained to some certain extent, at least the people that had wrestled.
Oh, definitely.
Even Maximus Roman. Maximus Roman, like spoiler alert, he technically trained with CZW.
Okay.
He didn't graduate, but he technically trained there.
Yeah.
So everyone on that show was technically an indie wrestler, so they counted it as an indie show. But that shit was a yard show.
Pretty much.
I'm just saying, is everybody from New Jersey trained by CZW?
I think so.
That is crazy.
Wow.
Because I know Jordan Oliver trained there.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Like, because Cameron Jackson, he told me a story about how he trained with CZW, and he's from New Jersey, and they made him take a bump on the wood from the top rope.
Fuck that, bro. I would have walked out that day.
I think he said he did after he did it.
Wow.
I would have done it.
That's unsafe as shit, bro. Because Caution, you'll fucking realize this if you do end up coming out of retirement and wrestling more, but you have a bump card, bro. Like no matter how much fucking Darby Allin tries to fucking hide from it, you have a bump card, and eventually your bumps are gonna catch up to you, and you're gonna be walking around like a zombie.
Oh, that's true. I mean, I wouldn't say I take bumps from wrestling rings, but I do take bumps from like horses because I work with horses, and you know, there's like bronchi ones, you know, and if you don't like focus or like if you don't have a good hold, you know, you fall. And like, sure, I've taken like some falls and stuff, like nothing major, but like there'll be times where like, you know, it'll fucking hurt, you know.
Yeah.
But I mean, that's just my take on bumps.
All right. Well, do you guys think this is a good stopping point for Beyond the Yard today?
I believe so. I mean, look, it's 2 hours.
Yeah, I'd be down to do another one of these if you guys come up with a bunch of more interesting questions as well for a sequel podcast.
Oh, for sure, man. I love
just like how Stone Cold says it. Hell yeah, right?
Hell yeah.
That was great, Derek. You sounded just like Stone Cold.
Oh, hell yeah, yeah.
Give me a hell yeah.
There we go, dude. Fucking Caution with all the fucking Devon and Stone Cold today.
do the Ron McDonald as Stone Cold.
You said who?
Ron
Yeah,
McDonald?
can I say my goodbyes?
Oh,
Derrick,
yeah.
goodbyes, and then like Caution does the outro as Navon McDonald or Stone Cold, his choice.
Yes.
Yes.
All right. Guys, thank you for having me on Beyond the Yard. It was an awesome experience. Thank you for finally having me. Everyone flood my Instagram with fucking questions if you have any, because I answered most of them. If you have anything in particular that you want to know about, I'm an open book, except for ESW stuff. Catch me at every fucking rinky-dink wrestling fed that you can find me at next year. I may or may not be like on a smaller break next year because of my personal life, which I didn't get into at all. Maybe I'll get into next time. But
definitely.
Thank you guys for having me. Thank you, Derrick. Thank you, Caution. Thank you, ACW Network Universe, wherever this fucking goes, if it's fucking Spotify or something.
Yeah.
Thank you for tuning in for all 2 hours of this.
Yeah.
I love you all. Be safe. And remember, make history and reinvent relevancy.
Couldn't have said it better. Definitely. So, Jack Delta, I just want to, behalf of me and Sebastian Caution, I just want to say thank you for being a part of Beyond the Yard. I'm definitely sure that the fans loved every moment of you being a part of this episode. I just want to say I've learned so much. Even though I haven't met you yet, I've learned so much from you. I had a great time. I believe Caution had a great time. And I can't wait to have you back on the show again.
Thank you. Hopefully it's sometime soon.
All right, well, thank you for coming to the Beyond the Yard podcast, and we'll see you on the next one. Can somebody give me a hell yeah?
Oh, hell yeah.
Thank you.
No, that is just what the doctor ordered.